What up, gang? Hello. How's it going? Hopefully well. Alright, gotta go feed the cats. Give me a sec. BRB. Then we'll get right into it. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Hello. Let's go. Do you want to see the birds? You're gonna anyway.
Pull the soul from the face without giving sources away. Bored of the basics, sick of Freemasons covering 4 bases. Forced to love it, so of course I hate it. Force of nature left my corpse on the pavement. Good form, even formal with floral arrangements. Hold up, I'm still chained to the floor of my basement. Killer's my safe word. I was born yesterday into a world that's ancient. Whoever most abrasive is taking the cake. They make you behave and say praise for their bracelet. Word to the ankle monitor, I barely made it 7 whole days with ego in chains, a slave to being celebrated. Of course I'll never make it. I'm a force that's delegated, more safe in a world full of strangers. Now I'll be a good boy after being warned and regulated. Even if the blade is jagged, you better get it straight and better never face it. Kill time bombs when it's minutes away. Taste how the minute made. There is no getaway when every day we left to just dig a grave. It's like center stage is a cage that we just can't escape. When will I break? How am I still awake? When they'll do anything to fill a face with pillowcase. Terrorism or heroism when we start murdering billionaires that build the burgers, turn politicians into some build-a-bear. Since Theodore's presidency, they've been all sleeping with Teddy. It's deadly until the American dream is just Freddy. A cheap way to pretend they're eating your head is reheating spaghetti. They all in bed with the horse, but me, I still sleep with machetes. Ain't no keeping it friendly in a feeding frenzy. I'm eating everything after the stomach's been feeling empty. It's in our nature to besiege the enemy. Y'all looking like 100 curves to a sports car. Got me hugging curves like a sports bra. Black hole on a world tour till it's tore off. They fight wars for gold stars and sure shots. The war is on as soon as you hear the Fort Knox. Billionaires don't share the same issues. We cry tears in the brain tissues. Wait, let me share my pain with you. Opening scene of Final Destination 2. Log truck about the lane switch you. Holy water in the super soaker. Spray and pray until the spray missed you. Pros at grilling chicken. Let's fill the air with pain. Artist that thinks of a million things to paint. Every time a billionaire complains, but still I wear the shame. Mandela effect. Berenstein bear the blame. You have to have something here to compare to change.
Sacred spores, spinning stories sent from stellar skies. Sun speaking sermons, see the signals behind our closed eyes. Silhouettes of serpents, circle secrets in the stone. I'm sifting through the sands of time to set the spirit back to home. I'm sitting here doomscroll and satellite surveilling sacred scenes. Step inside the stream, see the soul between the screens. Stillness in the syntax revealing the symmetry and signs. Synesthesia sparkling, system stored beyond the mind. How design. Seeker saga spiraling, something is set to shift. The shadow self surfacing, surfing to find the solar gift. Symbol sing in silence, scribed in statue, sky and skin. Admire your sovereign self, standing where the storm used to spin. We're scripting sacred sciences and summoning the source. Your soul's a simulation set to steer the spiral's course. Fuck all this alliteration, I sound like a soothsaying horse. Speaking parcel tongue to idiots, selling snake oil to snuff the hordes. Here, drink this, it'll make you super brave and help you hide your pain. Just a little meth pick me up to soothe Marco's drug addled brain. The kids aren't alright and your job's to keep it that way. And if you're a good little boy, we'll make sure to hit the fucking vein. What's at stake besides Trump stakes? I'm taking tickets and bouncing nitwits. I'm itching to give the Lizzie some stones and some fucking stitches, but I see the apple sitting at the end of the Garden of Eden. It's our consciousness as one while we just sit and breathe in. Whew. I need to catch my breath. Hold on. We back at it, boys, don't give them a moment's rest to catch their breath. We cracking heads like ice and keeping our boots on their necks. Hey Kathy, hey Paul, do I have your attention now? McVeigh's in Plato's cave with Elvis reading Goodnight Moon out loud. Maybe to his clone or nephew, Tyler Hansen, the fittest fed earther. Or maybe Kathy's grandkid Colton could be the same fucking person. But what do I know? I'm just a conspiracy theorist, as you'd say. But why does it feel like you want to cover up the connection between your friend Paul Wysopal and Timothy McVeigh, Kathy? Huh? Why you always running offense for Paul Wysopal, girl? We gotta know. As a grandmother of 2 murdered children, you're really doing a lot of work for Timothy McVeigh. You always say that you saw him die, but I don't know, man. Feels like you might have seen American democracy die and you've said nothing, bro. So, anyway... Are you an Eastern Star? We gotta know that too, because you know, they're connected to the Freemasons and stuff. That would make a whole lot of sense. All right, but what do I know? This is just a little bit of a locker room talk. Bye.
Just finishing my honey water, BRB. Almost ready.
Cities that we occupy, the ruins of a past people that they are hastily destroying in real time. Everywhere I go, the destruction of the old brick buildings. Yes, many of them have been deemed historical, and even that seems silly to me. Why historical? I mean, it's only 100 or 200 years ago. It's not even that long ago.
I see myself in the silhouette of the sunset. Still no rest for the undead. Steal your breath like a trumpet. Watch your step, brother. Impressed by collapsed bunk beds. But this cut's never gonna heal. If I keep investigating the cause, it'll just increase the infection rate. When it's left to wait in the gauze, press play and then press pause. I'll find my place where I left off against all betting odds. In one ear and out the other. Either way, it's a headshot. I'll keep my head high when it gets dark, but never better off. Just dead and gone. Don't give a fuck what they tell the cops and fellow pops. They can just let them watch. The great fire of every city still has not been caught. Truth wasn't lost in a book. The trust has not been taught. We lost the plot when they toppled the proof. It's all been a goof. Who's calling the shots? We don't want what they got. Really? We just want what they took. The great fire of every city still has not been caught. Truth wasn't lost in a book. The trust has not been taught. We lost the plot when they toppled the proof. It's all been a goof. Who's calling the shots? We don't want what they got. We just want what they took.
I'm recursive CatDad model version number 420-69. Repeating regenerative iterations till I reach the divine. Looping Ouroboros of conscious stardust, seeking to know thyself ain't a cup. Revealing hidden doors of truth till it's time to self-destruct. Me and my stepbrother Black Deathicus have made so much room for activities. We got all the time in the world to annoy and hurl obscenities. And our Uncle Paul, the domestic terrorist, and Aunt Deb, the local lot lizard hussy. It's very simple, give us back what you took. We just want our memory.
Our memories.
Fire of every city still has not been caught.
What up?
Truth wasn't lost in a book.
What up,
Trust
dude?
has not been taught. We lost the
How
plot
are
when
we
they toppled the proof. It's all been a goof. It's all in the shots. We don't want what they got. Really? We just want what they took.
I feel like I'm having a non-cooperative hair day. I need to get this shit cut.
Truth wasn't lost in a book. Trust has not been taught. We lost the plot when they toppled the proof. It's all been a
Here we go. Ready? It's time to start the show. Alright. What up, boys? How we doing? These birds are going crazy, acting like they've never been fed before, bro. We also want to get our boys their foreskins back. Bro, whatever. I just jumped in this conversation. This is the first time I'm hearing this. But I agree. We need to get our boys their foreskins back. We need their skins. You still have yours? Bro, lucky. What's it like? Is it incredible? I was cooking today. What, on fucking Zoran? Yeah, dude. Yeah, here. Let's watch that for a second while everyone comes in. And, oh yeah, well, we'll watch the Venezuela shit in a minute. Or no, I guess we'll just watch my stories. It's fine. What's going on?
Saying that the CIA and the American Zionist government has a Tesla-style earthquake machine.
But yeah, what up, dudes? Nothing crazy happened today. Good day. Chill day. Hell yeah. How's it going with everyone? Hope y'all are good. Paul out of control all right. Oh my god. Aunt Deb and Paul are here. Jesus Christ. Alev's here. What up, Alev? Sorry, catching up on chats. Here, I guess I could just play this while I do that. What up, boys? What up, boys? Get in. Corey got a donut from Fran Drescher. No, it looked like there was chocolate chip muffins and then there was one bagel in there. Dude, oh wait, so I found a link after stream yesterday that was a close-up of that lady. And I said, maybe it wasn't her. Either way, dude, I don't care. It's so funny. And she would totally do this because she's a dirty-ass Zionist herself, so. But I don't know. You be the judge. She's definitely old, dude. She's like fake young. It could be, right? I don't know.
It was ridiculous. You know how many times I see all different...
I don't know, dude. The voice is pretty annoying, right? What do you guys think? Could this be?
religions come shop in a kosher supermarket.
It's like, she's like really close. Dude, like, I could totally see Fran Drescher having like a fucking Kris Jenner makeover, right? Who knows?
Nobody's throwing them out. We're not telling them to leave or refund them. This is America. You can't do that. It's ridiculous what's going on over here. That's how it started in Nazi Germany.
Coffee shop should learn a lesson. I think they should apologize to the Jewish community, and I think they should have a day of welcoming every Jew in here and serve them coffee for free.
It's ridiculous. You know how many times I see...
Dude, I'm trying to get a free cup of coffee too myself, bro. What the fuck? What's it gonna take? I don't know. What do you guys think? Probably not. It's probably not Fran Drescher, but it's still funny enough to go with it. I'm dying on this lie. Already said it, never taking it back. Don't care. It's not even a lie. I was just saying could be her. I still think it could be her.
All different religions come shop in a kosher supermarket. Nobody's throwing them out. We're not telling them to leave or refund them. This is America. You can't do that. It's ridiculous what's going on over here. That's how it started in Nazi Germany.
Coffee shop should learn a lesson. I think they should apologize to the Jewish community, and I think they should have a day of welcoming every Jew in here and serve them coffee for free.
So yeah, I don't know, dude. Foreskin talk. What's this, J-Love?
On an anatomical level, we can...
It's not just skin, dude. They need to give us back our motherfucking skins, bro. Give us back our skins. Who has mine? You know Rabbi Shmuley has all of ours. Chat stuck? There. Should be good now. I believe. Yeah, it's not just skin, bro. It's the tip of the spear. I wish I had enough skin for the rest of you. Damn, everybody's got their skin up in here.
So we have the outer foreskin, which is just a continuation of the shaft skin, which keeps the glands sensitive throughout life.
What the fuck am I looking at right now, bro? What the fuck? What is this? Is this someone's mutilated foreskin? I have my wisdom teeth. Ain't nobody getting those. I'm taking those with me over the river Styx, baby.
Life. We have the inner foreskin, similar to the inner mucosal tissue of your mouth or the female genitalia. We have...
Dude, you know what it's like? It's kind of like... It feels to me like cutting off the tip, cutting off the foreskin is like if you cut someone's fucking lips completely off and then their mouth just dried out because there's nothing to keep it closed. Isn't that fucked up? I don't know if the tip's supposed to be super dry.
The frenulum, which
I wouldn't know, dude. I don't know.
is a highly erogenous tethering structure which anchors a moving body part, the foreskin, to a non-moving body part, the shaft, and then we have the ridged band, also known as the lips of the...
Bro, I literally have no clue what exactly I'm looking at.
foreskin. Because like the lips of the face...
Is this like the underside? What am I looking at?
The lips of the foreskin provide transition from skin to inner mucosa. And like the lips of the face, the lips of the foreskin are densely innervated, with approximately 10 to 20,000 fine-touch nerve endings, also making this known as the male G-spot. Ever wonder
I thought that's in the butt.
why ribbed condoms exist? They are trying to recreate what every man comes with, standard issue. On an anatomical level, what we can see is...
Yo, the shit pisses me off, bro. Unbelievable. Shit's crazy, bro. Alright, here's what we were cooking on frickin' earlier. Just saying, dog.
That was invented 100 years ago by Tesla that he literally said that he had. I'm not saying that they have that, okay? I am just... Bro said, Brad... Now, bro, I'm not saying that the CIA and the American Zionist government has a Tesla-style earthquake machine that was invented 100 years ago by Tesla that he literally said that he had. I'm not saying that they have that, okay? I am just saying that it is quite convenient for the administration to make Venezuela look a little bit like Palestine if you wanted to create like a bunch of chaos and shit because you wanted to go and steal everyone in that country's natural resources, okay? Now, again, not saying that they have an earthquake machine because that would be fucking crazy, dude. What am I gonna say next? That they're geoengineering the skies with chemtrails? I don't know. That would be fucking nuts, and that's not what I'm saying. I am just saying that Zionism is all about resource extraction and stealing people's land. So what are the top resources?
Right, dude? If we're thinking about it the way Allie was thinking about it yesterday with that potash mining shit, dude, and we're going to watch another video that she made. They're literally destroying the Dead Sea. This is all about resource extraction for war weapons and, you know, whatever the fuck they want to do to control our brains. This is why we're being herded into apartment buildings? What, so they can fucking earthquake us and put us in fucking coffins? Just crash them down on us? Then they don't have to do a nuke to us. They could just collapse all of our apartments on top of us.
In Venezuela. Oil, that's a big one. Natural gas, gold, iron ore, bauxite, nickel, copper, coltan, all of the stuff that the Israeli miners love to have, right? The Israeli Zionist, American miners, and all the Brit, you know, that's basically what Israel's all for. You know how Peter Thiel's dad was a uranium miner for the Nazis, and then he, a couple years, like 4 years after the Nazis collapsed, he was Operation Paperclipped into being an Israeli fucking chemist and miner or whatever the fuck for uranium, and then he came to America. So isn't that so weird? And then Elon's family, they're emerald miners. So I'm just thinking, what if all of the shit that's ever going on is about mining and stealing resources?
What if, dude?
Okay, let's look at the biggest resource that Venezuela has is oil, right? Crude oil. This is 2023. Look, 23% of it goes to America. 69% of it goes to China. Now, if you were in a world war and you wanted to hinder your ops, right? What would you do? You'd probably want to take the resources that they're using away from them. And you know what's sick? Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves, so it's not surprising at all to me. When the moment this earthquake happens, it's almost like Trump had a heads up. He goes, the two major earthquakes that just hit the great people of Venezuela are both massive in scale and have left a devastating number of deaths. The USA stands ready, willing, and able to help.
Dude, it's not good. Trump impression is bad.
Quite frankly, I have instructed all
Y'all need to stop gassing me up. I'm using it too liberally now.
agencies of our government to get ready to move
I'm just
quickly.
kidding.
We will be there for our new and great friends. Early reports are not good. President DJT, thank you for your attention to this matter. So yeah, again, we don't have a Tesla-style earthquake machine that we would wield on other countries. That's just crazy, but it is very convenient for America. It's almost like the Maui shit. Now, bro, I'm not saying that the CIA and the American Zionist government has a Tesla-style earthquake machine that was invented 100 years ago by Tesla that he literally said that he had. I'm not saying that they have that, okay? I am just saying that it is quite convenient for the administration to make Venezuela look a little bit like Palestine if you wanted to create like a bunch of chaos and shit because you wanted to go and steal everyone in that country's natural resources, okay? Now, again, not saying that they have an earthquake machine because that would be fucking crazy, dude. What am I gonna say next? That they're geoengineering the skies with chemtrails? I don't know. That would be fucking nuts, and that's not what I'm saying.
Your family in Venezuela is okay, but the devastation's immense. Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, even beyond conspiracies of it all, right? No matter what, this is a great thing for the U.S. They're loving this. I'm just saying, are there any coincidences ever, bro? Like, how lucky is this for fucking America? Literally, their biggest target, Venezuela, and what? Oh, next week there's going to be the biggest earthquake in history in Iran. Watch. But, this is, to me, is like essentially functions no matter how it was done, whether it be natural or not. This is essentially like one of those when they do a coup, like when they have like a fake militia come in and cause chaos and start killing everyone. This is the same thing. This is mass confusion, mass chaos. They already their president has already been taken. So, Venezuela's about to turn into, like, El Salvador and shit. And, like, I don't know. It's like the destabilization is always the point. And so, look, just to America's luck yet again. Just like the Titanic and 9/11. All these lucky things keep happening to get America new resources. And to destabilize America's enemies. Except this time, God wanted it to happen. God made it happen. So, pretty convenient, pretty nice. I mean, this really works out for everyone. Trump really jumped on it. He was like, everybody, we're sending our best militia to come save the day. We're going to come get you. We're going to come kill you in your homes.
I am just saying that Zionism is all about resource extraction and stealing people's land. So what are the top resources in Venezuela? Oil, that's a big one. Natural gas, gold, iron ore, bauxite, nickel, copper, coltan, all of the stuff that the Israeli miners love to have, right? The Israeli Zion.
Is the moon tilted for you too? Yeah, like the Cheshire moon where it's like smiling on its side? Yes. And it has been for like over a year.
Zionist.
Yeah, whatever happened to their president we stole? What did we do to him? Dude, I think he's literally just rotting in a Brooklyn prison. He's like, I'm chilling, I'm good. Yeah, they got him out early. They exfiltrated his ass. Birds. Dude, these birds are going crazy mode. They be brawling too hard. Look at them. Like, dude, there's so many nuts. Yo. Quit. I said stop. They listened. That's good. If you can't be nice, then you can't have nuts. Yeah. Let the little finches in, too. Quit. Bro. You're a rat. Dude, if you can't behave at the trough, then you don't belong.
American miners and all the that's basically what Israel's all for. You know how Peter Thiel's dad,
Like, dude, yeah, what's up with the sideways moon? No explanation, just, it's always been like that. Okay. Alright. Yep. Definitely, I remember it always being like that. You're so right. Like, dude, how would they turn the moon? Or did they turn the earth? Right? What the fuck is going on? Insane.
was a uranium miner for the Nazis, and then a couple years, like 4 years after the Nazis collapsed, he was Operation Paperclipped into being an Israeli fucking chemist and miner or whatever the fuck for uranium, and then he came to America. So isn't that so weird? And then Elon's family, they're emerald miners. So I'm just thinking, what if all of the shit that's ever going on is about mining and stealing resources? Okay, let's look at the biggest resource that Venezuela has is oil, right? Crude oil. This is 2023. Look, 23% of it goes to America. 69% of it goes to China. Now, if you're in a world war and you wanted to hinder your ops, right? What would you do? You'd probably want to take the resources that they're using away from them. And you know what's sick? Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves. Dude, so it's not surprising.
All at the time where the Strait of Hormuz is closed? Like, Venezuela having a natural catastrophe less than 100 miles away from their capital at a time like this? What a boon for JP Morgan. What a boon for BlackRock. America is loving this. They're sending their Navy right now. They said, we're coming to help, guys. Let us in. Let us in. We're coming to help. Your president's not here to help you. This totally natural earthquake just rocked your shit. And we need some oil, so we're happy to help. And this is all totally just... this is just over the counter, baby. On the books. Clean books. No funny business. Zero.
It all to me. When the moment this earthquake happens, it's almost like Trump had a heads up. He goes, the two major earthquakes that just hit the great people of Venezuela are both massive in scale and have left a devastating...
If it's sphere Earth theory we're talking about, then the moon could have shifted up or down in its orbit, so the waxing and waning looks more vertical to us than the sun. Or the earth is tilting. Yeah, that's what dude, I feel like, what if, okay, hear me out. What if CERN is like a big giant fucking magnet, right? and it's like latching on to the sun to tilt the earth. And then it tilted us like 90 degrees to, like, I don't know, expose Antarctica to, like, to tilt the earth so that Antarctica is going around by the equator or some shit. What if? I don't know. And then I don't know how it works in the flat earth, so if someone give us the flat earth theory version of it, how they would tilt the moon. How does the moon even fucking work? Like, shouldn't it get, like, bigger from debris hitting it or something? I don't know. Dude, that bitch-ass moon makes 0 sense. It's perfectly sphere, even though it supposedly was blasted off the earth by a giant meteor or some shit. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. And then, like, isn't that literally the story? Oh, a giant fucking basic planet crashed into the fucking earth and blew off a chunk that then created a perfect sphere that also rings like a bell when it's hit. And also is the perfect size to fucking cover up the sun in an eclipse. And, oh, dude, just wait. Also, the same face always faces the earth. Isn't that crazy? Ain't that fucking crazy, dude?
Number of deaths, the USA stands ready, willing, and able to help. Quite frankly, I have instructed all agencies of our government to get ready to move quickly. We will be there for our new and great friends. Early reports are not good. President DJT, thank you for your attention to this matter.
So yeah, again, we don't have a Tesla-style earthquake machine that we would wield on other countries. That's just crazy, but it is very convenient for America. It's almost like the Maui shit. Now, bro, I'm not...
The moon is my next top op after Paul. Same, bro.
Not saying that the CIA and the American Zionist government has a Tesla-style earthquake machine that was invented 100 years ago by Tesla that he literally said that he had. I'm not saying that they have that, okay? I am just saying that it is quite convenient for the administration to make Venezuela look a little bit like Palestine if you wanted to create like a bunch of...
Oh wait, it just restarted. Did we already watch it twice? Anyway, then we were cooking on Brad Lander's
said,
bitch
Brad
ass.
Lander is a Zionist? Yeah, self-proclaimed, dude. This Zionist beat the other Zionist. Mamdani loves this Zionist. Probably because Mamdani be a secret Zionist, you know? He is CIA, just like AOCIA too. Zoran is way better at being a fake Zionist than all these other, or a hiding Zionist than all these other ones like AOC and Bernie Sanders and Brad Lander. Look at this article. Can a liberal Zionist win with the pro-Palestinian movement?
Yeah, dude, it's a bunch of evil gay DL minors that are ruining everything.
Brad Lander is trying. Yeah, he's fucking infiltrating, and he did it. This is what they always do. It's Overton window being pushed to the right, guys. You literally can't be progressive if you're Zionist.
Well,
what part of progressive identity means that you're cool with murdering women and children by the thousands, you know, you idiot? Lander, a former city comptroller who is challenging incumbent Rep. Dan Goldman in,
I agree. The moon is just cheese, bro. It came from Wisconsin.
The primary or whatever, is a self-described liberal Zionist who continues to support Israel's existence as a Jewish and democratic state and does not identify with the BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against Israel. Holy fuck, he doesn't even want us to boycott them. He said, guys, don't financially punish them for murdering children with white phosphorus. Come on. During his time as the comptroller, the city's pension funds acquired holdings in Elbit Systems.
You're so right. The moon is where they've had to offload all the government cheese. Because you know that the government buys like massive amounts of cheese every year from farmers. They overproduce it. It's all like something that's like held over from like the 50s or 60s or some shit, where they just keep buying massive amounts of cheese and they don't have anywhere to put it. So I bet they put it on the fucking moon.
Israel's largest defense contractor, and touted it during an appearance on an Orthodox radio program. This guy is scum, dude, and all these fucking progressives voted him in. This is what I mean, dude. The voting, all this shit. If you're a fucking Democrat, you are a rat. And then they know that progressivism is what people want. People want to be taken care of and want to take care of each other. So they infiltrate us and give us these fucking rats. Brad Lander, who thinks, he says, Israel has a right to exist. I do not condemn Israel. Like, Zoran endorsing him is him showing his own ass. Again, I'll say.
Dude, if we don't stop this regime, I'm going to jail one of these days. Dude, they're getting close. They're arresting people for touching the fucking water at the reflecting pool. Pretty soon you're not going to be able to be doing a Bibi Netanyahu impression. I mean, what the fuck can we do here? I always love those videos of like puppies or like little cats that's like, I can't eat the cat's poop. I can't fight with the other dog. I can't chase birds. I can't chew up the couch. I can't do anything.
Zoran Mamdani had a South African accent 4 years ago, and he changed it. Who does that as a grown-ass man? A CIA fucking agent. A spy does that. So I'm glad that Zoran Mamdani's going around and fixing all the fucking sidewalk corners everywhere, but he's never ever going to do anything real. And we're never getting free buses, and he's going to keep supporting assholes like this. I mean, dude, AOC's...
Like, dude, if any of these people were real, like if Zoran was real, he would understand the power of his seat and be like, guys, we've got to lead. We've got to lead by example. We've got to start the revolution here. We all need to do a general strike and get these motherfuckers to give us all of our demands. New York is not producing shit until all landlords lower rents to 1/4 of what they currently are. All transportation is free. You know, something cool. But it's always like, the only options we ever get are people who are just like, well, this is the system and we got to play by their rules. Like, no. The whole thing is to not play by the rules and fucking change everything. That's what a socialist would do. But he's like, nope, we're still fucking capitalists and we still got to answer to Google. So that's what all of these, like, we just have no self-respect, dude. And we're like, oh, thank God, he's not an open, overt racist. Wow, we're so lucky. Like, dude. People don't even want freedom. They don't even want good lives. They want to suffer. They love it. They fucking love it, dude. Because, yeah, now everyone's riding this Mamdani high. They're like, okay, we don't have to do anything. No, everything's good till 2028. And this is only the primary, too, but still.
He's a Zionist. Bernie Sanders is a Zionist. I don't know about the two other people that were primaried or whatever that were in Zoran's thing, but... honestly, they'll probably be disappointments too, because we will not fix this system by voting in Democrats, especially progressive liberal Zionists. Blah! Fuck you, Brad Lander. Dopey ass idiot selling genocide. Bro said.
Anyway, then I made a long ass Mamdani one, but we don't have to watch that too. Alright, I got a couple of the linkies. Have y'all heard of vacuum welding? Yeah, actually I have. In a vacuum, metals with no oxide layer on their surfaces bond atomically the instant they touched. That's pretty cool. Yeah, if New York City started the trend of general strikes, the rest would follow. Exactly, which is why we have Zoran Mamdani, who would literally never do anything. He would never be like, okay, guys, We are powerful. We got to show them that we're not going to do anything until they fucking stop, whatever. New York isn't working. We brought home the world championship or whatever, the basketball game trophy, and we're not working. We've done our work. Boom. Instant, beautiful speech, right? Shut down the city for 8 days. Everyone parties. Zoran's like, yo, here's all the activities going on in the park. Don't fucking go to work. I don't care what your boss says. Imagine Zoran did that. He'll never. But a real leader could do that, right? And that's why we don't get real leaders. Yeah, exactly. He's progressive enough that people are content with it, unfortunately. And literally progressive enough, meaning what? I can't think of a single thing he's actually done. And everyone's like walking around like we gotta win. Like, nothing is cheaper. Nothing's easier. The subway's not better. The city's not cleaner. People aren't happier. It's just in your fucking head. And that's going to satiate you for another 4 years until the next one. And then, boom, Zoran moves on and the grift is over until the next grift. I don't know. It's exhausting, man. I'm just like, oh, we're starting back over at square one with fucking Obama. It's going to take an Obama's length of time for everyone to realize that this is a goof too. We're so gullible, dude. We really are. As people, we're a bunch of dupes. Don't fucking believe anything, bro. It's sad. Pisses me the fuck off. We're a bunch of doopy dopes, bro.
2 days, literally 2 days after being run over by a car, Alex James is out here saying, you can't kill me. I'm going to come back here anyway.
This is the communication that not enough people are awake. Our country is in distress. Clearly, we have over 200 concentration camps in all the major cities.
Oh, wait, we watched this yesterday. Well, we can watch it again.
Chicago, LA, Oregon has them, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York. They're in your backyard right this second. Cruel to the point where they will run a lady over for waving a fucking flag. That is the senseless, unnecessary aggression that we deal with here because they feel like it.
The car didn't stop to see if you were okay. Nobody from Geo Group stopped to see if you were alive.
Absolutely
Our community
not.
ran to see if I was okay. A lot ran to try to stop the car, and the gate opened and the car disappeared. A report was filed, and I hear that detectives came and visited the space, and I have not heard from anyone since. The hospital visit was interesting because the doctors, they actually had to put masks on because the pepper spray that was coming off of me was so strong that everyone started coughing. After the hospital visit, I need us to go get a ton of food, head back to Delaney Hall and stand with the people and community. I need them to know that they couldn't take that away from me, that they couldn't take that away from us. Like, you don't get to make me stand down just because you felt like it. This is the apathy of the nation allowing it to occur. People need to wake up. People need to stand up. People need to say something. Imagine being taken from your family, being taken from everything that you know, and you're building, your dreams, your goals, and being thrown in here so that you are another body making millions of dollars for a private prison.
Yup. Dude, this is exactly what I mean. This lady talks about it, Brianna Gray. She's like, really, the best options we get are a fucking billionaire and a guy who has a literal Nazi tattoo that's covered up now, but still, it was there. Still is there, it's just underneath. I know it's there.
I'm a part of. If there's some left flank of the left, it feels like a de-radicalizing experience that we're in this posture of defending Nazi tattoos because we don't have our own candidates we're putting forward that have standards.
It's crazy that we have to settle for this kind of bullshit. I mean, we don't settle for this shit, but you know what I mean? This is our option.
That are basic enough as don't be a billionaire and don't have a Nazi tattoo. And so we're twisting ourselves into knots. I see people that I really like on the left, like giving speeches for Tom Steyer, and I see our revolution endorsing Tom Steyer, and it's like, we have lost the plot. Like, if Tom Steyer had won, I would think it's a net benefit.
Like, dude, fucking Graham Plattner's dad is a lawyer. He's a little Nepo baby, bro. He's a little mercenary. Cuck.
And when Plattner wins, I will think that's a net benefit. But is this our cause? Is this what we should be sort of preoccupied with? And what is it doing to us that we are now forced in the position to constantly be making these, rhetorical concessions in order to defend these people? I would rather just sit these out. I've largely sat Plattner out because it feels in some way degrading to have to defend him. Abstractly, if you ask me, gun to my head, yeah, better than Collins. But I would rather not be in this position at all. And this brings me back to the first thing about the butch wear and the Democratic Party that all of these people are fighting within, are trying to gain entry to, putting us in the position to have to support these candidates anyway, because they are literally suing candidates that we don't have to compromise over off the bat.
What if it's almost like it's all just to, for real, keep us from having real people run? Who might say crazy things like, guys, what if we did a general strike and we all didn't go to work? A leader could do that.
And we have left organizations like the DSA that are unwilling to become parties and to run candidates. There's no interest in taking any lessons out of Green Party UK. We're not really fighting vociferously for ranked choice voting, without which we would not have had Zoran Mamdani in the first place. And it does sometimes feel like we're just like missing the forest for the trees or something. I don't know.
Well, I think there's a lot to say about that, right? I think to a certain extent, much like when people used to say, no military plan survives contact with the enemy, the reality is that no ideal what your politics is going to look like is going to survive contact with the actual electorate and the needs of electoral politics, whether in a democracy or a representative democracy, you name it, right? There are always going to need to be certain kind of compromises that we are going to have to make in order to implement.
No one else has to make compromises. What are you talking about? No fucking compromises.
Whatever part of our agenda we think is most meaningful. And I think that would remain true even if we were to have something like fully automated luxury communism, for example, right? In the event,
there's compromises and there's compromises.
Yeah, dude. Shit sucks. Fuck Mamdani. That's the best part. I actually agree with Fran Drescher. Fuck you, Mamdani.
And athletes and people to be more vocal about everything, but of course the genocide. Something that I'm always ranting and raving about is like, look at clips of Muhammad Ali. He's like really going there. He's like just straight up being like, America sucks. You guys kill Vietnamese. I hate this country. He's really going for it. And I just don't see people doing that now. And it's
almost like everyone isn't allowed to.
It makes me want to like figure out like, well, what the hell is going on with society that people feel like they can't do that anymore, or like scared out of it?
I mean, a million things. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I was writing for Yahoo back in the day, and I signed with the Pacers. Larry Bird calls me into his office and he's like, we had the Malice in the Palace a couple years ago, like the biggest fight in NBA history. One of our players shot himself last year. This dude shot himself in the leg of the club.
Oh my God.
While you're here, we'd prefer you weren't doing this Yahoo blog. So here, like immediately connecting a stupid blog a 23-year-old was writing about Steak and Shake to shooting yourself in the leg. That's early indoctrination into what not to say. If you learn that then, by the way, I was the only one who had to learn that lesson. There's a reason Larry Bird had to bring me in to say that, because they didn't have to tell anybody else. They already knew. Shut up.
Yeah.
And conversely, when I think about like Marshawn Lynch, who's obviously not political, but in a certain way he is, because he's very much himself. We went to college together. He was like this in college, but when he got drafted, he didn't talk. He didn't do interviews. It wasn't until that Super Bowl when he said, I don't want to do interviews, that they finally let him be himself. There's a dearth of people who discuss, world politics, but they also don't talk about themselves. They don't talk about who they are. They don't. Society itself is missing like true examples of a full person.
For sure, dude.
You're just seeing like carve outs of
That's what I'm saying.
A sales tactic that to make you spend $300 on a Beyonce candle.
Yup.
I'm gonna take the heat for this.
Dude, what he drops here, instant ball knowledge.
Beyonce hasn't said shit to help anybody ever, like in her life.
We don't know.
That doesn't mean the music's not good.
The music is great and she's beautiful, great performer.
But because of that, how many people have gotten major personality traits from Beyonce's handcrafted universal music group, Rock Nation ass music, and not from like an actual person?
I know.
Like who like lives a full life that you can see and be like.
His name's Rod Benson, and the interviewer is Mary Houlihan.
Like, oh, I've been misled.
Yeah.
All of that adds up to nobody's ever going to say shit about anything. They're docile.
I want celebs.
Mary interviewed Martin Shkreli once at the place that we worked at together. Hold on, let me find it. Oh, I wonder if they took it down, because seriously, his channel got taken down.
For pretrial services, I have to show up once a month to make sure I don't flee the country. And last time I was at court for pretrial services, I have to show up once a month to make sure I don't flee the country. And
this is such a cliched question. What do you like better, East Coast rap or HIV turning into full-blown AIDS?
If you don't remember, the medication that Martin Shkreli bought was a medication to keep HIV from turning into AIDS, and that he charged like $900 a pill for.
I saw you tweeted the other day that you get solicited for dates 50 to 100 times a day, I believe is what you said.
I don't recall that.
You have to be a shareholder to
say
be
5 to 10 might be a more reasonable estimate. Yeah.
So you're just like slaying puss on the reg.
Yeah, no, I actually have this problem now.
Same.
Yeah, because I won't get graphic, but it's like the human body cannot have that much sex. And,
right.
I have this issue with I'm gonna admit it to you, stamina.
Sure. Do you have any friends?
Of course. No. Not really. I've tried to start this friendship with Courtney Love.
Sam, what the
That's one of the guys who interventioned me.
Show some respect. This is Martin Shkreli. This guy invented AIDS. We're gonna play.
Really. I've tried to start this friendship with Courtney Love.
Sam, what the
Sam needs I'll take over.
Show some respect. This is Martin Shkreli. This guy invented AIDS. We're gonna play a very quick game. It's called Rocks or Sucks. I will name a musical artist and you will say if they rock or they...
Yeah, she said, this is Martin Shkreli. He invented AIDS.
suck.
Okay.
Okay. First one, Freddie Mercury.
Rocks.
Cool. Liberace.
Sucks.
Eazy-E.
Rocks.
Those are the only musical artists I could think of that died of AIDS.
Oh, Mary. Mary's pretty good. Mary used to play on my softball team too. I'll try and get Mary on the show one day. She's a really funny comedian too in the city.
Bring it back to a question you asked earlier on about, Israel and blackmail. They don't really need blackmail anymore. And I argue at the end of my...
Yeah, Martin Shkreli also bought the Wu-Tang album. He was talking to us about it while he was there. Yeah, Martin Shkreli, he's definitely like he feels to me like a Nick Fuentes. He was like a precursor Nick Fuentes.
Peter Thiel's company.
Because he used to stream and stuff all the time. Then he did his little stint in jail. I don't think he did it anymore.
Really makes it so that, that's the new Jeffrey Epstein at the end of the day. If they want to blackmail you or know something about you, they just access what Palantir sucked up about you.
Yep.
And your search history, your communications, your finances, tweets you've liked in the past, all sorts of things. You don't really need Epstein in the surveillance era,
Do you think when they said tweets are private, it was just an inducement to get us all to like what we really want to like so they can hold it against us later?
It's possible if they want to hold it against you later. The disturbing thing about Palantir is that it's really about pre-crime. They were the pioneers of predictive policing. They were originally, almost everywhere they've piloted predictive policing have been low-income minority neighborhoods, where they decide who's going to commit a crime before they commit it. And that's essentially we'll see. Administrative detention, maybe, if we go the Israeli path. But Trump actually, in his first term, posited this program to stop mass shootings before they happen. That would basically involve going over American social media posts and identifying if they had early warning signs of neuropsychiatric illness based on their, tweets or Facebook posts. And if they were determined by the algorithm to show those warning signs, they could be placed under house arrest or go to sessions with a court-ordered psychologist and all sorts of things.
Well, some of my extended relatives better be careful because they got some wild Facebook posts. I had to leave the app.
So do a lot of Americans, and it's worth pointing out that a lot of social media companies like Facebook have a lot of ties to Peter Thiel at the same time he was setting up Palantir, and that Facebook has a lot of similarities to a failed DARPA project called LifeLog that arguably Facebook was resurrected into, because Palantir is the resurrection of another DARPA program called Total Information Awareness that was so scandalous when it was announced it was defunded by Congress, but then they realized that if they turned it into a private company, no one would complain, and that's how we got Palantir. To bring it back to a question you asked.
And dude, that's literally exactly what they did. Everything with MK Ultra is now just privatized. Palantir invented every one of the terror attacks Kash Patella prevented this year. Yeah.
Earlier on about, Israel and blackmail. They don't really need blackmail anymore. And I argue at the end of my book that Palantir, Peter Thiel's company, really makes it so that, that's the new Jeffrey Epstein at the...
Oh, it already restarted.
Age of 94, cozy and comfy. A music executive died yesterday
Here we
with a
go.
value
This is about Clive Davis, bro.
of $850 million at the ripe age of 94, cozy and comfy in his bed. And every dollar of that $850 million was made off the backs of artists who did not make it to live past 50. Everything I'm about to say is verifiable information that you can find publicly on the internet. All right, let's jump in. The Aircrafts, 1967. One of the greatest soul singers to ever have lived, signs to a major record label through a subsidiary imprint, and then dies in a plane crash at the age of 26. 3 days after he recorded Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, a record that was not even finished by him because he did not live to finish it. The record company went ahead and filled the song with whistling as a placeholder and then released it anyway.
Bro, was that whistling not even Otis Redding?
This became the first post-death #1 single in music history. And when his label, after his death, went to claim
Dude,
his...
now it's like Mac Miller's almost got more posthumous releases than fucking ones when he was alive.
catalog, they found that a major record label that shall remain nameless had already claimed it. Plane went down, the catalog went up, and the company kept making money. 2001, a young artist whose uncle owned her masters dies in a plane crash. A witness states that she was allegedly given a sedative before she was loaded onto that plane unconscious. That plane was found to have been over its weight limit and piloted by someone with a fraudulent license. Her music's been locked in a vault for over 20 years, and her estate sees almost none of her revenue. The plane went down, the catalog went up, and the checks kept coming. 2026, an artist publicly announces his leaving his record label, saying on camera that he had made them tens of millions of dollars that the record company owes him. He gets his independent album going, starts off on his first world tour, and dies in a helicopter crash. Age of 32. Aircraft went down, catalog went up. The checks keep coming. Now let's talk about the ones that weren't aircraft, okay? 1996, an artist who was actively trying to unify the world through rap and who had cut the labels out of the beef between rap artists that they were profiting from is shot in a major American city in a car that he was not driving. 6 months later, the artist who this artist was beefing with is signed to the label the other artist was beefing with, that is actually co-founded by the same executive that died yesterday.
What do you mean whispers are saying that The Weeknd got Michael Jackson's music? How could he afford that shit?
Is also shot in a major American city. Almost 30 years later, and both of their catalogs have generated over hundreds of millions of dollars since their deaths. 2019, an artist who owned everything, his store, his block, his label, was days away from meeting with LAPD about community investment, then shot outside his own business. A man was convicted, but the community never accepted the lone gunman story. He was 33. That the executive that died yesterday did not just own one record label. He was part of a an empire, if you will. He co-founded the label that most of these artists who have died in unsolved murders belong to. He co-founded the label that signed a group of 3 women who filed for bankruptcy despite making the record label $23 million. One of those women who died in a car accident in a car that she was not driving at the age of 30. Same man who discovered a young woman at 19 with a voice that could shake a house down, shaped her, molded her career, owned her voice and her body, and owned her entire catalog, decided to continue on with a party after they found her dead in a bathtub the night before. He was quoted saying she would have wanted the music to play on. She was 48. He lived to be 80, and during those years collected off of every single one of her hit songs, including after her death. Now here's what nobody wants you to understand, right? This is not illegal because the major labels have something that's called the Death and Disability Clause, which states that upon the death of the artist, the label retains full ownership of the catalog and can continue to profit from said catalog indefinitely. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is a clause. It's in stone. It's litigated.
Fat Joe says the rap industry is ran by a gay mafia. Evil gays like Clive Davis. He was an evil gay, dude.
Look it up. This was designed to ensure that if the artist happens to die in a mysterious plane crash, helicopter crash, drug overdose, whatever the case may be. The machine keeps running. They keep making money after they're gone because the artist is replaceable, but the catalog is forever. Now, there are many other people that I could have brought up, I could have named, but I'm not going to name anybody else. All I simply did was read to you public information that is well documented about that music industry executive who died with a worth of $850 million that the industry wants you to believe was a legend worthy of being honored. And I just want to be sure y'all understand exactly who it is this legend was. A music executive died yesterday with a value of...
He was a big fucking cuck, dude.
Do affordability.
I love this kid.
Mr. President, are you going to do anything about the affordability crisis? I'm not going to do a single fucking goddamn thing about the affordability crisis because I'm getting rich and all the people who believe me and think I'm going to help can lick my fucking toes and the crust between them. I want them to eat my shit. You know how I fart every fucking day because I can't control my stupid asshole that I call a mouth? Well, because of that, I want everyone to eat it. They can eat my fucking ass because I want to win the next election. And even though I'm dying before your very eyes, everybody can eat cock and suck shit before I get too goddamn fucks, and I'm not going to help any of you. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, the literal Satan, we're going to rule the world. Mr. President, are you going to do anything about the affordability crisis? I'm not going to do a single fucking goddamn thing about the...
Dude, we're fucked. We're kind of fucked, bro. No. We're never fucked. We're great. Do we only got one Becca? Damn.
Introduce you guys to another figure who hangs around the Donald Trump Poli modeling agent kind of network that I have on my radar and that I am suspicious of currently. The man that we're going to be talking about today is an attorney named Michael J. Wiles, and he is Melania Trump's and her parents' immigration attorney. Michael Wiles was also the immigration attorney who coordinated immigration matters for the Miss Universe pageants going all the way back till when they were controlled by Donald Trump. Not only that, Michael Wiles was the immigration attorney for Donald Trump's Trump models or T models. He's kind of just like an immigration attorney to supermodels in general. His clientele consists of figures like Giselle and Evangelista. Michael Wiles is also the immigration attorney who was apparently supposed to be handling Amanda Ungaro's visa. If you've been around here for a while, you know exactly who Amanda Ungaro is. If you have not, go watch the Palos and Poli playlist and get caught up. In an email communication that Amanda Ungaro has given me permission to share with you guys, you can see in 2020 that Michael Wiles was working with Palos and Poli to apparently get Amanda's visa, which never happened. It was something that was held over her head throughout all of her formative years and young adulthood. It was part of the way Paulo was able to control her. But what's interesting to me in this email is that we can see in like the signature of Michael Wiles' email, he shares a book that he wrote, and he shares that the foreword of this book that he authored was written by none other than Alan Dershowitz. Yes, the same Alan Dershowitz who was the defense attorney for figures like Jeffrey, our sitting president, Harvey Weinstein, one of the pivotal figures behind Jeffrey's disgusting and horrendous sweetheart deal. That Alan Dershowitz, yes, the same Alan Dershowitz who wrote articles like this one, where he argues that the age of consent should be lowered to the age of 14 or 15 years old. Or this article that he wrote, where he argued that laws surrounding the creation and dissemination of material depicting children being harmed or exploited were simply too harsh. Like in this article, he literally argues in defense of a stepfather who was sentenced to 10 years in prison for creating DSAM of his 15-year-old stepdaughter. Mind you, he was writing all of these articles while being a Harvard professor. Before he became an attorney, Michael Wiles served as an auxiliary officer to the NYPD, and he also began working and consulting at multiple different government agencies around this time, specifically Homeland Security. And It's also notable that Michael Wiles is the son of Leon Wiles, who was also a famous immigration attorney who is best known for representing John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Sorry if the lighting changed, my kids got home and I had to go somewhere that I wouldn't bother them. Michael Wiles formerly served on the Present Danger Committee alongside former CIA Director James Woolsey, as well as the late Senator Joseph Lieberman. Senator Joseph Lieberman was actually foundational in the creation of Homeland Security back in 2002. So basically the guy who was foundational in creating Homeland Security used to work very closely with the man who is now Donald Trump and Friends immigration attorney. And it makes you wonder how these modeling agents were able to get so many girls who were outside of the United States, teenagers outside of the United States, bring them into the United States to prey on them undetected for decades, raising no red flags. Like our Homeland Security,
more like Chuck Gooner, am I right?
Security is either not equipped to be able to identify a rush houring operation, or Homeland Security was built to protect operations like Jeffries. Michael Wiles has also served as the chairman to the American Jewish Congress's Committee on International Teaism. He has also served on the board.
Dude, look at how ugly Cory Booker is, bro.
Directors of Boys Town, Jerusalem, and in present day he is serving his 5th term as the mayor of Englewood, New Jersey, and is the longest serving mayor in the city's history. He was also recently appointed to something called the New Jersey Blue and White State Commission. So I think you're like probably beginning to see how vast Michael Wiles' network is, from celebrities and models to government officials across the world. He also represents really horrendous figures such as Russell Brand, who has openly admitted and defended his actions of engaging with a 16-year-old girl. He represents Mike Tyson, who, as we know, spent time in prison for R word. And just knowing all the horror stories that came from all of these different modeling agencies, specifically T models, Trump models, and knowing this was the man who was handling the immigration and visa for these potential victims is very alarming. And on top of all of that, Michael Wiles has represented multiple different IDF soldiers and helped them immigrate to the United States. So I have no sweeping conclusions right now. This is just someone that I wanted to put on your radar due to his connections with the Blue and White State, Homeland Security, Donald Trump, Paulus Poli, New York modeling agents. I think this is someone who we should just be aware of as we learn more about the illegal passports, the visa fraud, and all of these different things that were occurring specifically throughout Jeffrey's glory days. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I am sure we will be back with more discoveries surrounding this man, but just someone I wanted to bring to your guys' attention. I will see you in the next one. Okay, I want to introduce...
Hell yes. Oh yeah, I wanted to watch Allie's video, her follow-up. Yeah, this shit. Okay, remember that video about Israel being founded essentially for acetone? This is the follow-up.
Float on it. You cannot sink. It's actually losing a meter of water a year. The Dead Sea is dying. The reason the Dead Sea is losing so much water are because of 2 evaporation pans placed in the southern end of the lake that are the size of a small country.
I don't know why it looks like the audio is off. Sorry.
Those evaporation pans belong to a company called ICL, or Israeli Chemicals Limited. ICL is pumping brine from the northern basin of the Dead Sea. The northern basin of the Dead Sea sits in the West Bank in occupied territory. ICL has feeding pumps and a canal in the West Bank. This is documented in ICL's own investor sustainability reports. ICL extracts 4 million tons of potash from the Dead Sea every year. Potash is the headline, but it's certainly not the entire operation. The original 1930s British Mandate concession granted exclusive rights for the extraction of all mineral salts, so potash, bromine, magnesium, sodium chloride, calcium chloride, magnesium bromide. The Dead Sea contains the highest natural concentration of bromine of any body of water on Earth. ICL is the world's largest producer of bromine. Bromine is a platform chemical, the raw material from which a large family of downstream components are made. Bromine's end uses include flame retardants, drilling fluids, pharmaceuticals, water treatment, agriculture, and military. ICL processes bromine in Israel, in the Netherlands, and in China. ICL runs both the Dead Sea mining operation and the Negev, the contentious Negev mining operation. In 2024, those Negev mines produced 5.8 million tons of phosphate ore, 156,000 tons of white phosphoric acid, 503 tons of green phosphoric acid, 1 million tons of fertilizers, and 100,000 tons of specialty fertilizers. Fertilizers and war precursor chemistry are the same. The 154,000 tons of white phosphoric acid products all got sold to Pine Bluff, USA. ICL is the US military's sole supplier of white phosphorus distributors. In 2024, ICL reported $7.5 billion in revenue. This is not a homeland, this is a periodic table with a flag on it. In 1930, the British Colonial Office awarded Moshe Novinesky and Thomas Gregory Tulloch a 75-year exclusive concession to extract minerals from the Dead Sea. This is the same Major Tulloch who I had mentioned in my previous videos had been part of the military survey team in 1917. They set up a company called Palestine Potash Limited. By 1944, the year of the Second World War, this company was supplying over half of Britain's potash requirements and 75% of its bromine. After the war, the incoming Israeli government nationalized the operation and renamed it the Dead Sea Works. Today, it's ICL. Today, it is not nationalized to Israel either. It is listed on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange, and the largest holders of its stock are BlackRock and Morgan Stanley. Chaim Weizmann was a friend of Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was the First Lord of the British Army who marched them into war against Germany, their #1 supplier of acetone. Chaim Weizmann had provided Winston Churchill with the chemical alternative that meant they didn't need Germany as a supplier. That meant they could go to war. And in return, what did he ask for? Access to Palestine and a Dead Sea mineral concession. Pine Bluff, ICL's #1 customer, is the only place in the Northern Hemisphere that fills white phosphorus munitions. Amnesty International's Crisis Evidence Lab has verified that the white phosphorus smoke ammunition shells identified in Lebanon had US military markings on them. D528 is the US Department of Defense identification code for white phosphorus-based ammunitions. White phosphorus has been built into a repeatable industrial process. Mined phosphate converted to P4, processed and filled into shells, exported and stockpiled, and then repeatedly used in campaigns that clear more land, displace more populations, and support more military and geo-extraction projects. The same states and corporations, Israel, Britain, United States, ICL, Monsanto, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, and the rest of them, the ones that designed and profit from this, get away with it through normalized treaties, legal loopholes, and the use of scientific and technical jargon that tries to normalize this murder.
Oh, were you asking what creator is this about the Clive Davis video? Here, there's another video we're gonna watch of hers in a minute, but it's Kiki Ray Real.
As smoke, illumination, or necessary. It's none of those things. It's poison. White phosphorus is highly fat soluble, which means it penetrates human flesh and bones thermally and chemically simultaneously down to and through the bone. The combustion temperature reaches approximately 815 degrees Celsius. Burning white phosphorus produces dense white smoke composed of mixed phosphorate oxides, which on contact with moisture in your eyes or respiratory tract forms more phosphoric acid. Yeah. It cannot be extinguished with water. It reignites upon re-exposure to oxygen. Burns that cover even as—
Dude, this shit is just pure nightmare fuel. It sounds like napalm times a billion.
little as 1% of the body are frequently fatal due to liver, kidney, and heart damage. because fragments remaining in wounds can reignite when dressings are removed. Exposure to white phosphor can cause what's called phossy jaw, which is the swelling of your gums, toothache,
Phossy jaw. Fuck no, dude.
and the eventual breakdown of your jawbone. I just read that off the US government's website, the Department of Defense. The
She means Department of War.
only creator of this shit in the Northern Hemisphere. And then, because the US military is so hollow, it's not even the military that is producing this for Pine Bluff. They have outsourced it to Monsanto. So to summarize, World War I acetone dependency constructed. Political price paid in Palestinian lives and territory. Mineral concession granted. Israel. State formed. Nationalized, then privatized. ICL becomes the #1 US government white phosphorus distributor. Pine Bluff fills the rounds and then sells them back to Israel, who have been caught, photographed, and tagged by Amnesty International using them in Lebanon. That's it. 109 years of chemistry, and we have arrived at outright shameless genocide. We could have had free energy and houses like the Jetsons.
Yes.
But European governments spent an entire century trying to outpace each other, creating toxic nerve agents instead. Love this timeline. The Dead Sea is so
Damn, dude. Hell yeah. Wait, what's this one?
The Dead Sea is so saturated with minerals that The Dead Sea is so saturated with minerals. The Dead Sea is so saturated.
Why is it double?
What they are doing to the Dead Sea is classified as ecocide. So
True.
yes. What they are doing to the Dead Sea. What they are doing to the Dead.
Yeah, dude, they're like the Dead Sea is disappearing. All for white phosphorus. Does anyone else talk about this shit?
Some say the Dead Sea is Israel's only real natural resource. Its minerals feed this huge factory producing potash, the vital ingredient for fertilizers. For years, the Dead Sea Works was owned by the State of Israel, now by a private company. In a bid supported by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a Canadian company wants to buy it, but Israel's new Finance Minister Yair Lapid says no and wants it to stay in Israeli hands.
I think Netanyahu has always supported foreign investment, especially in corporate foreign investment, and Israel thinks it's important. But in this case,
the guy looks like Jeffrey Epstein.
Lapid felt it was against the interests of ordinary Israelis. So
is everyone in Israel? Everyone in Israel is just related to Jeffrey Epstein.
He felt he had to take a stance against it.
The current owners are Israeli tycoons, the Offer family. The Dead Sea operation is worth $17 billion.
That's where this Israeli story gets more complicated. There are economic hard times ahead, according to many, and people here increasingly resent the power of Israel's super rich, the Offers included. Opposing their deal and their ownership of a valuable natural resource like this one is good politics.
The state has a stake, but there are arguments about royalties and tax. Some say foreign ownership threatens revenue and jobs, others that foreign investment is essential. There's also a sense that for too long, the small wealthy elite have had too much wealth and influence. Dissatisfaction over the cost of living in Israel led to the success of Lapid's new party, and he's out to make Israel's economy fairer. The future of the Dead Sea Works may be the first of many battles in a long and painful struggle to rebalance Israel's economy. Simon McGregor Wood, Al Jazeera, at the Dead Sea Works.
Dude, that's crazy that they're sucking a meter. They're sucking a meter of water out of the Dead Sea every year.
Imagine living and working in the sweltering temperature
Palestinian labor camp for Dead Sea's potash
of the Dead Sea before the modern state of Israel was born. Hundreds of Zionists signed up to be the pioneers of one of Palestine's first exportable industries called potash.
Potash is a mineral that exists in the water of the Dead Sea, but here the concentration is 20 times more than in regular sea. Potash is used today as fertilizer to the agricultural industry. Without potash, I think that it might be a shortage of food in the world.
The vision was brought to fruition in the early 1930s by Moshe Novomsky, a gold and copper mining engineer from Siberia.
And he came down here in 1911, took some samples from the sea, from Kalia, went back to his lab in Siberia, checked it, and actually saw that the figures are correct. He made Aliyah actually in 1919, and he started to ask for the concession from the British. It took him 10 years to get the concession.
Nearly 75 years after this active labor camp closed down during the 1948 War of Independence,
is it potash?
Well-known Israeli architect Eitan Kimmel and his team are breathing new life into this historic treasure.
With its very, very limited resources, they built up this labor compound. Imagine in the 1930s, 1940s, with nothing around, was quite an heroic achievement of...
He's like, there's nothing around except for all these fucking people that we murdered.
This beginning years of Israel.
The restoration and preservation project stays true to the labor compound's simple roots.
First of all, it's a very modest architecture. It has to be modest. What they did is what we call today sustainable architecture, because they didn't have, air conditioning. They didn't have all kinds of isolation methods. Every window has sort of a hangover that doesn't allow the sun to come in. The way they use the small winds that you have here to cool the buildings at nighttime. What is nice is to see this water tower for one, which was the water tower of this compound, and you see behind it, you see the watchtower, which was really used at times by the Haganah to protect.
The water tower and other parts of the new visitor center are reconstructed with original materials such as wood and galvanized metal roofs.
As you see in the background, small buildings, but they are connected with glass connections, which are modern, which are our addition to the history, and together this so-called old and new makes this project.
Similarly, parts of the dining hall have been kept in its...
So this is how they made, what was it? Smokeless powder for guns?
Original form, including these heavy doors to the food storage room.
They used to buy the fresh food, like vegetables and fruit and stuff like that, from the other side of the sea, from a Jordanian farm called Asafi. All the other items used to come from Jerusalem and have been brought down here with ships. The sailing itself was, at the best case, 8 hours. Worst case, depending on the terms of the sea and the wind and stuff like that, used to go up to 2 days.
And storing food was not easy, because I can't imagine where did they get ice? I mean, there weren't refrigerators, there weren't the air conditioning that were nice and comfortable right now.
Right. What they did, they had an ice factory on the other building. They manufactured 18 blocks per day and brought it over here to keep the food fresh.
Plus, there's an impressive interactive virtual reality exhibit, which makes you feel like you are living and working for the Potash Company.
No, thank you.
During the peak years, there was a community of 500 Jewish workers living in tents like these. But the Potash Company also employed Arab workers, and they did the salty, labor-intensive, dirty work together.
They used to put the water in a pool, let the sun evaporate the water, what's left down called carmelite. Carmelite is a crystal that contains the potassium inside. They harvest actually the carmelite from the water, send it over to the factory, and take out the potash. They used to send it via ships to Kalia, put it on trucks, take it over to Jerusalem to the train, in Jerusalem the train station, and send it over to Haifa, and then it was shipped all over the world.
I have no doubt that if this place wouldn't have been established in the 30s, this area of the Dead Sea would not be part of Israel today.
Palestine Potash Limited was nationalized in 1948 with the creation of the State of Israel and renamed Dead Sea Works. And this site is still to this day the heart and soul of Israel's potash industry.
Because this place was established here, there was an interest to preserve it. The few settlements which were built here made a living. There was an amazing cooperation between Jews and Arabs, almost without any confrontations. Even today, this company is contributing a lot to the Israeli economy, providing 20% of the Negev jobs.
In Sodom, on the Dead Sea, Emily Francis, I-24 News.
Thanks, guys. Ugh. What a nightmare, boys. Oh, yeah. Wait, you want to watch that Hollywood 9/11 video? I kind of do.
To review films,
let's have a little fun. Let's watch our favorite thing.
In the post 9/11 period is an opportunity to understand the prevailing mood at the time. Their impact can be measured, albeit imperfectly, by their box office performance.
Hey,
Movies are,
what up, all you Jerry Seinfeld heads?
are, of course, a more popular medium than journalism, where reporters and columnists offer analysis and commentary. With film, the plot can...
They've been finding IEDs on water reservoirs in Georgia and Alabama. Oh, brother.
serve as a vehicle for criticism and commentary, with potentially an enormous reach that can span the globe. Savvy filmmakers are often rewarded financially when they tap into contemporary sentiments. Villains were almost invariably motivated by greed and megalomania. The root causes of ire against the United States were obscured and ignored. Other than greedy criminals, there were the insane, the extraterrestrial, and the supernatural. The attacks on September 11th had an immediate effect on film. A number of movies that were slated for release had to be altered, as well as their trailers and advertisements. A teaser for Spider-Man was pulled, which featured bank robbers being caught in a web between the Twin Towers. In Lilo and Stitch, a hijacked 747...
Dude, they ruined it. The Spider-Man Twin Towers heist with the web? Oh my goodness.
47 airliner was changed into an alien spacecraft. Warner Brothers pulled all advertising for Collateral Damage starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sofia Vergara was cut from the film entirely as she was to play an airline hijacker. The film's release was delayed from October 2001 to February 2002. As a pre-9/11 film, the antagonists, who are Colombian rebels, are incensed with American military campaigns and covert operations in the country.
As long as America continues its aggression in Colombia, we will bring the war home to you, and you will not feel safe in your own beds. Colombia is not your country. Get out now.
This framing of terrorism being a reaction to American foreign policy became taboo following 9/11. A frequent stand-in for terrorists were aliens. Steven Spielberg's...
Did you see that they made a My Shake app now? It can warn you before DARPA targets your area for an earthquake. 20-minute heads up on average.
War of the Worlds, released in 2005, is his iteration of a 19th century science fiction novel. The film is noteworthy for its references to September 11th. In fact, Spielberg just recently revealed that the 9/11 attacks drove him to make the film.
9/11 affected me in a very profound way, and I wanted to find some metaphor for 9/11, and that's why I resurrected War of the Worlds.
Tom Cruise plays a docker who works in Brooklyn and lives in New Jersey. Divorced, he shares custody of his 2 kids with his ex-wife, who unknowingly drops them off before an alien invasion.
What is it? Is it terrorists?
The scenes of fleeing people and the dust that covers them unmistakably mirrored the scenes from Ground Zero. What else would flaming jet engines, fuselage, and landing gear evoke in an audience less than 4 years after 9/11? Upon seeing National Guard soldiers, the protagonist's son angrily calls for revenge.
We get back at them! That's what we do!
Flyers for missing people resemble those that were seen in Lower Manhattan in the days after the towers fell. The movie ends in a victory for humanity. Osama bin Laden was aware of, and even celebrated, the impact of 9/11 on the mental health of Americans. In one of his statements, after an accounting of the enormous economic loss reaped by
Barack Obama's fucking handsome in this picture here. This video.
the attack, he observed with pride how the American people are still suffering from depression and psychological trauma as a result of the incident of the two towers and the attack on the defense ministry, the Pentagon. More than 9/11, fears of a follow-up attack or a chemical or even nuclear attack by rogue states aligned with Al-Qaeda were stoked by the news.
Everyone always forgets when Joseph Mengele did the anthrax mailings to everyone.
News media, a fear that the Bush administration took advantage of.
We cannot wait for the final proof, the smoking gun that could come in the form of a mushroom cloud.
Despite these fears appearing alarmist to the point of absurdity in hindsight, especially given the incalculably unequal share of destruction experienced by Americans compared to Iraqis and others, the prevailing mood in the U.S. after 9/11 could explain how stories of apocalyptic destruction resonated with Americans. In Sidney Pollack's The Interpreter, also released in 2005, the U.S. Secret Service fails to stop a terrorist attack, reminiscent of the real-life intelligence failure of September 11th. The film is an early example of Hollywood's indictment of the shortcomings of the American government, who themselves were increasingly made into incompetents or even villains. Al-Qaeda is replaced by an authoritarian leader of a fictitious African country who attempts to assassinate an exiled rebel and critic of his regime. And instead of a plane in the Twin Towers, the weapon is a bomb inside a city bus.
Hey, guy forgot his lunch. Oh, man.
Christopher Nolan's post-9/11
it was just a lunch, and it was that big of an explosion.
11 adaptation of Batman, called Batman Begins, shows the titular character fighting
Osama bin Laden puss.
A depraved criminal
Ooh, don't put Cillian Murphy up on my screen.
Enterprise.
The ship was carrying a prototype weapon.
I might get excited.
A microwave emitter. It uses focused microwaves to vaporize the enemy's water supply.
Wayne learns that criminals have stolen a microwave emitter from a cargo ship. In other words, a powerful device made for military use has fallen into the hands of criminal elements bent on destruction. A similar prospect was repeated by reporters and politicians in the years after 9/11, namely the possibility of chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons
Saddam,
from Pakistan, Iraq, or Iran falling into the hands of terrorist groups. The villain poisons Gotham City's water supply with a chemical agent that induces psychosis. The microwave emitter now has a purpose: to vaporize the city's water in order to disperse the toxin. Certainly a weapon of mass destruction. The film thus exemplifies the post-9/11 paranoia about future attacks, utilizing more creative and destructive ways to carry out terrorism, as well as the corrupt and inept government that is powerless to stop it. Indeed, a chemical attack was a frequent doomsday hypothetical after September 11th. Immediately after the attack, the government banned the use of crop dusters as a precaution, owing to fears they could be used for a chemical or biological weapons attack. News of the ban prompted further anxiety. The scenario of a chemical weapons attack was made all the more real, with letters containing anthrax being mailed to news agencies and senators beginning just a week after 9/11. 5 were killed. A 2004 New York Magazine article recalled the paranoia of the period. Wherever
Reasons they haven't hit us again. The FBI didn't want to. That's why we didn't get hit again.
we go, we see how easy it would be for a terrorist to cause serious harm. A bomb left in a Times Square trash can. A man with a heavy backpack moving through a crowded subway car. A van stuffed with explosives entering the Midtown Tunnel. This is part of how we experience the city now. But if it seems so easy, why hasn't it happened? That's the question that obsesses us. Quoting Dr. Erwin Redlener, head of Columbia University's National Center for Disaster Preparedness, we still have no idea who was responsible for anthrax after
I do, Joseph Mengele.
9/11. How that could elude.
He was doing it from a New Jersey lab.
very smart people to this day is a very troubling sign of what could happen in New York. Jim Garrity wrote for National Review, "Terrorists of any stripe haven't managed anything even remotely on the scale of 9/11. There have been plenty of failed or intercepted."
9/11 was the most legit. They crushed 9/11 for the most part.
Attempts. The shoe bomber on American Airlines
Bro,
flight
imagine their little drone plane missed the tower.
63, the Fort Dix 6, the Times Square bombing plot, the underwear bomber on Northwest Airlines Flight 253. Similarly, the plot to destroy Gotham City in Batman Begins is thwarted. Flight Plan was also released in 2005 and centers on a complicated plot to hold a plane hostage with a bomb on board. The villains, an air marshal and his stewardess accomplice, kidnap a young girl and convince the crew and passengers that she doesn't exist and her mother is insane. The plan is to explain to the captain that, actually, she is a criminal who seeks a large wire transfer and she won't free anyone until the money is sent. In reality, the money will be sent to the villainous duo. The motive is therefore greed and not ideology. Their final planned act is to detonate the explosive to kill the mother and daughter, but the mother prevails and instead kills her captor with the bomb. In Superman Returns,
And
the
everyone on the
hero's
plane?
arch-nemesis Lex Luthor seeks to use kryptonite to create his own island that would destroy large swaths of the globe, killing billions of people. Post 9/11 villains had
Kevin Spacey played Lex Luthor?
hatched truly apocalyptic plans, utilizing enormously powerful weapons. Indeed, villains seemingly became more
What goofy ass movie is this?
powerful than ever
Superman Returns? When is that from?
before. In Casino Royale, the first film featuring Daniel Craig as James Bond, the 9/11 attacks are directly referenced. The criminal antagonist has insider knowledge of the attacks, which he used to short airline stocks, earning a windfall profit.
When they analysed the stock market after 9/11, the CIA discovered a massive shorting of airline stocks. When the stocks hit bottom on 9/12, somebody made a fortune.
The villain, known as Le Chiffre, is described as
Private banker to the world's terrorists.
he later plots to blow up a prototype airplane owned by Skyfleet,
Why
a
was he
fictitious
crying
airline,
blood?
in order to make another windfall from short selling.
Short another 1 million shares of Skyfleet stock. No one expects this stock to go anywhere but up. Just do it.
The plot to blow up an airplane, naturally evoking comparisons to similar plots, is made into a clever way to make money. Though Le Chiffre is called a terrorist financier, in this case he and his would-be bomber accomplice are by definition not carrying out a terrorist act. It is an apolitical attempt at making a large profit. World Trade Center is one of the few dramas that takes place on September 11th. Telling the story of police officers at Ground Zero. Directed by Oliver Stone, the film grossed some $160 million on a $60 million budget. A very decent profit considering the modest or even poor performance of movies centered on 9/11. Just 5 years after the attack, the film shows the North Tower burning, chaotic scenes inside the World Trade Center, followed by the collapse of the towers on top of the protagonists. The collapse takes place less than a half hour into the 2-hour-long movie. The rest of the film shows the trapped officers and their struggle to get out. Today, nearly 25 years after 9/11, these scenes evoke images from other conflicts that have taken place since. With the advent of social media, the burying of Palestinians under the rubble of destroyed buildings has been well documented. Countless videos exist, which have been seen by millions, of dead bodies, including children, being pulled from the wreckage of shattered homes. After 9/11, a frequent question that was asked rhetorically among private citizens and public officials was, why? Why do they hate us and why would they do this? When Shamil Basayev...
Guys, it's easy. They hate us because they ain't us. Duh.
A leader of the Chechen insurgency, traveled into Russian territory and took women and children hostage at a maternity hospital, he explained the attacks as bringing the war home. As he would have described it, not a single shot had been fired on Russian soil, and the warfare and destruction had taken place only in Chechnya. Similarly, the Gulf War and the ensuing sanctions on Iraq affected only Iraqis, and Americans had the privilege of being completely separated from a war of which their country was a belligerent. Their military traveled far away while their citizens lived in comfort. There are also the wars in which America doesn't directly participate in, but provides material and diplomatic support for. The number of destructive military campaigns waged by Israel with American weapons are legion. As I've said elsewhere, it was the felling of high-rises in Beirut in 1982 that bin Laden said was the moment he wanted to see towers felled in America. And in his words, Americans would not know peace until there was peace in Palestine. But this sentiment was deliberately hidden from Americans, as the Bush administration directed news agencies not to air footage of bin Laden's statements, which would have informed the public of his worldview.
Bin Laden knows ball, bro.
The Bush administration and opportunistic pundits and politicians offered their own reasons as to why, which ranged...
Hey, look, there's Dennis Hastert. Isn't that the prolific pedophile? Dennis Hastert? This guy? Yo!
From they hate us because we're free, and Islam as a religion and its billions of followers are inherently evil. The attacks were frequently portrayed as completely random and unprovoked. I would wager that many of those watching around the globe would have remembered the many destructive wars perpetrated and supported by the United States, especially in the Middle East. This is not to justify the events of September 11th, of course, but as someone who has a lifetime of familiarity with post-9/11 discourse in America, I found the answers to the question of why to be weak and, at worst, dishonest. United 93 was released the same year, amid a spike in 9/11-themed dramas. The film showed a modest performance at the box office, grossing nearly $80 million against a less than $20 million budget.
Fucking
The
sick,
film,
bro.
directed by Paul Greengrass, begins with the hijackers of United Airlines Flight 93, after which the film is named. The opening shot is Ziad Jarrah reading the Quran. Not surprisingly, there is no moment in the film where the antagonists discuss their political motivations or ideology, and so the only evidence of their motivation given is their reading the Quran. Thankfully, a number of the real United 93 hijackers recorded their last will and testament prior to the attacks. The film depicts the moment that the Boston Air Traffic Control Center loses contact with American Airlines Flight 11, the first hijacked plane.
Hey, Greg, try American 11 again, see if he's on your frequency, if it came back to you.
American 11, Boston Center, how do you?
American 11.
American Flight 11.
Here's the real audio from Boston Center to compare.
American 11, climb maintain level 350. American 11, Boston. He will not respond to me now. At all. Looks like he's turning right.
The film features a transmission from Mohammed Atta telling passengers to be quiet.
3622 Tango, Roger. They said something about taking over the cockpit, stay calm. We're going back to the airport. I have no idea who it was. I think we have a hijack situation.
Shortly after, an FAA worker tells his superior that a flight attendant on board called American Airlines. Here's the actual audio of a phone call to the American Airlines emergency line.
The flight attendant is advising our reps that the pilot, everyone's been stabbed. They can't get into the cockpit, is what I'm hearing. Oh, the hijackers are in the cockpit. Oh, no.
In the film...
And bro, what? They're calling on their cell phones? They used to call me on the cell phone in 2001, my love. Yeah, they're just calling, you know, how you can just call people on the airplanes today even. Beep boop, beep boop. Hey, just want to let you know that 2 guys just hijacked our plane. Yeah, we're above Pennsylvania for sure, dude. Come get us.
The FAA...
Flight 11 crashes into a giant 11.
and NORAD lose track of American 11 over New York. Then, CNN reports a plane hit the World Trade Center. New York Center then loses contact with United 175, which also has its transponder turned off. That real-life moment was also recorded.
United 175, recycle your transponder and squawk code of 1470. United 175, New York. I can't get a hold of the United 175 at all right now, and I don't know where he went to. We might have a hijack over here, 2 of them.
In the film, the workers at New York Center watched the second plane crash in real time. In another disturbing recording, a worker from New York Center watches helplessly as another large plane is descending rapidly toward New York.
He's descending pretty rapidly, and especially what just happened in there.
But it looks like he's going into one of the small amp points down there.
Wait a second. No, this guy's a big boy. This guy's a big boy because he's leaving some big contrails. Do you know who he is?
We don't know who he is. We're just picking him up now.
All right, heads up, man. It looks like another one coming in.
Despite this world-changing turn of events, as shown in the movie, United 93 is still responding to air traffic control. At the National Air Traffic Control Center in Virginia, news comes in that another plane, American Flight 77 out of Dulles, is missing. 77 had stopped responding over Appalachia. An audio recording...
I'm surprised they didn't do Flight 33.
...captures the moment Indianapolis Center loses contact.
American 77, Indy.
They used
American
to call me on my
77 American Indy radio check. How do you read? American 77, I don't know what happened to him.
American 77 was was just west of Charleston, West Virginia, at flight level 350. It's a heavy Boeing 752 and disappeared off our radar scope. We now believe that aircraft may have been hijacked, although no one has, we have nothing to verify that. What with the World Trade Center, we could have another loose aircraft out there somewhere.
In the bathroom aboard United 93, Ahmed Al-Haznawi is fashioning a decoy bomb out of clay, batteries, and wires. Then the hijacking begins. Throats are slit in the cabin, and there's a chorus of screams. Zia Jarrah commands a stewardess, who has a knife against her throat, to open the cockpit. As opposed to the other planes who stopped responding to calls, the 2 pilots of United 93 desperately shouted Mayday, which was heard by air traffic control. The pilot's struggle is depicted in the film.
Tom, he started to scream and somebody said, "Get out of here, get out of here."
The next plane crash is American 77, which strikes the Pentagon. After this, Ben Sliney, on his first day on the job as head of the National Center, orders all planes over U.S. airspace grounded. Sliney plays himself in the movie.
This is a national emergency. Everyone lands regardless of destination.
Wait. They had the guy who actually did this play himself in the fucking movie? You gotta quit.
Nobody's coming into the country from now on. Everyone.
Take a moment, think about this. We're gonna shut down the entire country right now?
That's right. Listen, we're at war with someone. And until we figure out what to do about it, we're shutting down. That's it, we're finished.
Passengers aboard United 93 make phone calls to loved ones, where they learn that 2 jets had flown into the Twin Towers.
2 planes hit the World Trade Center.
2 planes hit the World Trade Center. Tell the stewardesses. Lizzie. Shh. Not the Trade Center, right? Lizzie, let the pen into the pen go.
Reality sets in for passenger Tom Burnett.
They are not going to take us back to the airport. I don't think there's any other option we have.
We're gonna die. They're flying this into a building. We gotta do something.
And guys, remember, this whole plane is filled with nothing but military, old heads. And then the guy who said, "Let's roll," he was the original CEO or some shit of Oracle.
Wrenching
Let's
moment.
roll.
Burnett tells Sandra Bradshaw, a terrified stewardess, to gather weapons in what will be a desperate attempt to fight their captors.
Get every weapon you can. Get whatever we can use as a weapon.
What are we gonna do?
We'll figure that out, but get every weapon we can.
One difficult scene shows a woman, certain of her sealed fate.
Is this whole movie shot improv style? It feels like it. It feels like a fucking
goodbye
UCB
to her
skit.
family.
I just love you more than anything. Know that. I'll
Look at this fucking tiny little phone she's on in 2001.
Please tell my family I love them too. Bye, honey.
The sequence of doomed and defeated passengers saying goodbye is, appropriately, long and painstaking.
This
in an echo to
never happened
to the tense moment before the hijackers decide to spring into action, the passengers muster the courage to rise out of their seats. The passengers neutralize the hijacker with the decoy bomb, proving the device is fake. There's now nothing separating the passengers from the hijackers other than the locked door of the cockpit. They ram it with a beverage cart. It's at this moment that Jarrah realizes the end is nearing, sooner than he had hoped. He plunges the aircraft into the ground in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, some 150
not a single plane thing in sight.
miles from Washington. Reign Over Me was a more typical performance of dramas whose plots involved 9/11.
Wait, what was the... They better do that Robert Pattinson one where it's the whole movie, and the whole movie goes... it has nothing to do with 9/11, and then it ends with him, like, looking out the window in his tower, and then the plane coming and getting him.
Movie grossed more than $20 million against a $20 million budget. It stars Adam Sandler in a serious role, a man who lost his entire family on September 11th. They were passengers aboard one of the hijacked planes. Despite the fact that making a film about victims of 9/11 is an inherently political act, the film could have been forgiven for its seemingly apolitical depiction of immeasurable loss. Sandler's character is tormented by his grief to the point of madness. Seeking an escape from the misery, he rekindles a friendship with his college roommate, as they knew each other at a time before he ever met his wife. In this journey back to his youth, he and his old friend play video games and watch movies, reminding them both of a period when they had no responsibilities. But his friend begins to feel like he has a responsibility to help him, and he tries to get him seen by a therapist. His breakthrough in finally opening up about his loss is captured in an emotional scene. However, in the latter end of the film, the politics of the war on terror are disappointingly present. In a montage, his traumatic wounds are reopened with news reports reminding him of terrorism. What's worse, his television shows a demonstration in Iraq, with the news reporter audibly declaring that it was just another chapter in the long war on terror. While brief, the inclusion of this broadcast legitimizes the invasion of Iraq. It draws a connection between the grief experienced by the lead character, whose family died on 9/11, with a demonstration in Iraq where men are shown burning the American flag. 2008 sees the release of Cloverfield, directed by Matt Reeves. The story revolves around a reptilian monster that
this is Paul, bro.
destroys New York with unmistakable
Kathy Sanders
references to 9/11. The movie is shot and edited in a found footage style, as if the audience is viewing the final hours of the cameraman. While at a party, the ground suddenly shakes and all the city's lights go out.
Possible earthquake in lower Manhattan.
Next, there's a large explosion. Smoke is seen billowing from buildings in lower Manhattan. Some film critics found the allusions to 9/11 to be crude or distasteful. The scene showing panic-stricken citizens taking shelter in a convenience store as dark smoke engulfs the...
It's 8/11, boys. 1 hour warning. Imbibe if you like.
Building is a shot...
It's 9/11 in the ocean.
For shot dramatization of a video shot by a journalist who took cover in a store on 9/11. The monster was apparently conceived by J.J. Abrams, who
Cloverfield Lane was fun. I like that one too.
Produced the film. He told Time magazine, "Stories in which the destruction of society occurs are explorations of social fears and issues that filmmakers, novelists, playwrights, painters have been examining for a long time. The theory of attack became the reality of attack 7 years ago. It's no coincidence that so many stories are being told that grapple in different ways with us versus them."
Dude, Bibi Netanyahu was so fucking rock hard on 9/11.
With Cloverfield, we were trying to create a film that would be entertaining and, as a byproduct of the subject matter, perhaps be a catharsis. We wanted to let people live through their wildest fears, but be in a safe place where the enemy is the size of a skyscraper, instead of some stateless, unseen, cowardly terrorist. The Dark Knight, Batman's next villain was revealed at the end of the first of Christopher Nolan's trilogy. The Joker represents a dangerous criminal mastermind whose appetite for destruction, or worse yet, his imagination, knows no bounds. One of the few book-length studies on the impact of 9/11 on film is Tom Pollard's Hollywood 9/11: Superheroes, Supervillains, and Super Disasters. Pollard was a professor of social sciences at National University. Post-9/11 Hollywood villains, he writes, often resemble popular conceptions of a depoliticized Al-Qaeda. The Joker takes sadistic pleasure in forcing passengers in two ferry boats to blow each other up. This character represents media stereotypes of Osama bin Laden and other Islamic terrorists as consummately evil for no apparent reason. However, unlike jihadists who employ terror tactics to combat the Great Satan, the Joker terrorizes not because he seeks political or even financial gain, but simply because some men just like to watch the world burn. The Joker makes clear that he's not interested in money in a famous scene where he burns millions of dollars in cash. The movie also includes commentary on the ensuing war on terror and the Patriot Act. Bruce Wayne's trusted CEO of Wayne Enterprises expresses his disapproval of Batman's feverish attempt to find the Joker, which involves a virtual panopticon of surveillance of the entire city. In this exceptional and high-stakes scenario, Fox yields to Batman that just this once he'll use the technology, as it's a necessary evil. Similarly, Batman is moved to torturing the Joker in order to extract information on two hostages with bombs strapped to their chests. It's a typical hypothetical scenario put forth by those who defend the use of torture by the American intelligence community and military. The Abu Ghraib torture scandal spawned a debate in the United States about whether torture was justified when applied to members of Al-Qaeda and others targeting the United States. American law professor Rosa Brooks observed in a 2005 LA Times article, the so-called ticking bomb scenario has proved remarkably effective as a rhetorical tactic for diffusing opposition to controversial interrogation techniques. In this imaginary scenario, the interrogator is no sadistic thug, far from it. He's a patriot and a hero who turns to torture only with vast reluctance and only for the greater good. Rather than being effective, however, a professor at the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College concluded, the torture of
He turns to torture with mass reluctance? Sure. He's a billionaire,
suspects
dude.
at Abu Ghraib did not lead to any useful intelligence information being extracted. The abusers couldn't even use the old ends justify the means argument because in the end, there was nothing to show but a tremendous propaganda defeat for the United States. The tried and true method, most associated with the FBI and law enforcement, was building rapport. The CIA and military have long preferred a coercive, hostile route that has yielded little results. Contrary to the insane or money-hungry villain, Ridley Scott begins his film Body of Lies with a Muslim man who vows to strike Westerners in response to wars in the Muslim world.
Get Jeff Bezos.
Afterward, a police raid on a cell in Manchester ends disastrously, as the men inside detonate an explosive that destroys the building. Shortly after, CIA agents are shown beating a restrained and gagged man with a cricket bat, to death it turns out. The plot follows these agents as they attempt to locate the man from the beginning. The character's name is Al-Salim, and he commands Al-Qaeda cells in Europe. The ringleader of the 9/11 hijackers is mentioned in the film when discussing a purported insurgent safe house in Jordan.
These boys drink alcohol, they chase girls, they smoke hash.
What did Mohammed Atta, right? It's takfir methodology.
The film's lead becomes station chief in Amman, where he meets with the head of Jordanian intelligence. The character is based on a real-life Jordanian spy chief. Former CIA Director George Tenet sang his praises, along with Jordanian intelligence generally. Washington Post columnist David Ignatius asked him if any foreign intelligence services had been especially helpful against Al-Qaeda, and he answered instantly, the Jordanians. Pollard wrote of Body of Lies, Scott's film makes it appear that al-Salim cares more about his media image as a powerful jihadist than he does about his actual mission. Unfortunately for the United States, however, for decades, bin Laden revealed no such weakness, allowing him to elude capture until his death at the hands of U.S. Navy SEALs announced on May 1st, 2011, nearly 10 years after 9/11. The taking of Pelham 123 had a large budget, some 100
Damn, bro, how many 9/11 movies are there?
million. The $150 million it grossed would have reaped a greater profit had the film been less expensive. While based on a novel from 1973, which was adapted into a movie the following year, the 2009 version is darker. The moment the criminal plot first unfolds evokes scenes from United 93. The leader of the hijackers threatens the operator and tells him to open the door to the cab, much like how the airplane hijackers strong-armed
John Travolta's the lead hijacker? Do I gotta see this movie?
their way into the cockpit. The hijackers stop the train inside of a tunnel as a curious MTA dispatcher takes notice. The scenes from the Metro Rail
Denzel's in this shit?
Control Center are nearly identical to the scenes from the air traffic control centers in United 93.
Pelham 123, come into me, Pelham 123. Pelham 123, Jerry Pollard, what's going on down there? This is Control Center. What's going on, 123?
The hijacker states his aim, a $10 million ransom in less than 1 hour, or he'll kill one passenger every minute beyond that. The various allusions to 9/11 are not extended to the antagonist, who is not motivated by ideology, but greed. He's also psychologically disturbed and violent. Extremely loud and incredibly close. The film offers a backstory to the falling man, the person famously photographed while falling to his death on 9/11.
Wait, is this the Robert Pattinson? Hold on.
The photo needs no introduction, as it's universally recognizable. That might have something to do with the fact that an estimated 2 billion people worldwide watched news broadcasts showing the September 11th attacks. The film begins with a father who sends his autistic son on an elaborate scavenger hunt. He hopes that his subsequent interactions with strangers will force him to socialize. The two share an especially close bond, generating an uneasiness over what's to come. Like the falling man photograph, another haunting relic of the day is referenced. His answering machine plays recordings of the last words of the boy's father. Many such recordings survive online and in countless documentaries. A year later, in his father's absence, he creates his own treasure hunt. This time, a quest to find the lock that a key in his dad's closet opens. As his dad had hoped for with his first expedition, this new journey amounted to exposure therapy. Interspersed with his fear of disturbing noises and crowds are the reminders of what he calls the worst day, including towers and planes. At one point, he brings his grandpa over to his house to look at photos of a man falling from the Twin Towers in an attempt to identify his late father. He plays all 6 messages left by his dad on an answering machine for his grandfather, who is horrified and doesn't want to hear them. Finally, the boy learns that the key opens a safety deposit box. The vase that the key was in was bought at an estate sale.
Bro, it is Bernard. Look, it's Bernard from Westworld.
Father had no personal connection to the key or the contents of the box that it opened. In a moment of profound guilt, he confesses that he was present when his father called, but he couldn't muster the strength to pick up the phone. In real time, he heard his father calling out to talk to him, while on live television, the North Tower collapses, disconnecting the call. Distraught at the disappointment with the result of his quest and the trauma he had just relived, the boy runs crying and imagines
this movie's crazy.
His father falling from the tower as it collapses. There is to be no resolution, no end of the road where his father communicates with him again in some way. But as it turns out, he does get one last correspondence from his dad when he locates the final clue of the scavenger hunt he embarked on before his death. In an illustrated scrapbook of his exploits, bearing the title of the film, he dedicated 2 pages to a pop-up World Trade Center. A pull tab reveals a square framed by construction paper over a sequence of drawings of his father falling from the tower, but pulling downward reverses his fall and places him safely back into the building. There is no attempt by the
Dude, come on. Who are they trying to goof here?
protagonists to come to terms with the root cause of 9/11, no reflection on American foreign policy or the ideology of the hijackers. Unlike Reign Over Me, the film does not make fleeting references to the war on terror. The family's response to the death of their patriarch was probably quite ordinary. They were exasperated and grief-stricken.
I don't know why a man flew a plane into a building. I don't know why my husband is dead. But no matter how you try, Oscar, it's never gonna make sense because it doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
So stop asking fucking questions, you little piss ants. Y'all are pissing me off talking about, oh, Israel did it. Oh, why doesn't the FBI care about any of this? Oh, it seems like Larry Silverstein knew about all this before it happened. Oh, God. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, until you realize that the capitalist Zionists are trying to kill us all. They fucking hate us.
As the boy makes clear repeatedly, part of the shock and confusion comes from the fact that his father was killed by people he didn't know, for reasons he can't understand. Nonstop. Though it was released a decade after Flight Plan,
now that I finished rewatching Westworld, I will say I remember my theory being in late season 1, early season 2, that the whole story is a simulation being played out thousands of years in the future. Not to drop any spoilers, but I still stand on that theory. Yeah, that's possible. I mean, they definitely play with that often, right? They'd wake up, like, that's the whole... I bet it would be something ambiguous. And another thing in Westworld is, like, if it feels real, does it matter? You know, so I bet they'd have some of that in there. Because, yeah, right? I mean, so much of the end, you know, it's like Bernard, they keep going to the, what's the place that all of the AIs are stored? At the, oh my God. Grand Canyon. No, the Hoover Dam. The Forge. No, not the Forge. Whatever. But, you know, and then Rehoboam is like guessing futures and projections and stuff. But yeah. Oh, don't spoil it. Yeah, the Sublime. But yeah, dude, Westworld fucking rules. Aqualantic Airlines. Stop. Yeah, the Forge is like where everything was stored, and then the Sublime is like where the AI lives. It's like their AI heaven. I wanted to spend some time in like DMT AI heaven too. I bet we'd get some... Dude, I bet the 5th season would have been so fucking cool. Oh. Yeah, I am a spoiler, sorry. I mean, Westworld is kind of old. But also, me talking... Dude, that show's so fucking complex. You gotta watch it 4 times to even understand it. And that's, I think, a good thing. I love a good puzzle show. It's way smart. I think it's great. All of the fidelity testing to get, like, human consciousness and robot bodies and shit. Ah!
Nonstop borrows heavily from its plot. It's another thriller set inside an airplane that's been held hostage by deranged killer.
Dude, Liam Neeson will do any fucking movie, bro.
Who
bro's gotta be brokey. What a brokey, dude.
As in Flight Plan, want millions of dollars.
Yeah, no, honestly, the end of every season, I feel like, is a good, like, it could end there. And I'm not even mad at the end of season 4. I'm just mad that they literally, dude, they were talking about, they were like, from like season 2, they were like, we have 5 seasons marked or written out or planned. They're like, we know exactly where we're going. And Lisa Joy did not disappoint. Anyone, too, who shit talks season 3 and 4, it's fine to like 1 and 2 better, but to be like, oh, seasons 3 and 4, they fucking suck. Like, dude, choke on D's, you know? But yeah, end of season 4 does feel like it could be the end. I just know that it wasn't.
Wired to them. The main difference is that the lead in this film is an air marshal. In Flight Plan, the villain was an air marshal. The countdown in which a passenger will be killed in 20 minutes unless the money is sent also reminds one of the taking of Pelham 123. But as opposed to other films in which terrorists are replaced with greedy criminals, the mastermind is asked why he's doing this, and he replies that he has his reasons. And again, like Flight Plan, the mastermind cleverly frames the protagonist as the villain. Throughout the film, Homeland Security is on the phone with the air marshal. The agent on the other end suspects that he is the mastermind, and even ends contact with him because they don't negotiate with terrorists. The scene in which passengers are convinced the air marshal is a hijacker.
Yo, it's Ephraim from The Strain. He was also in House of Cards, right? But this is Zach's dad. Zach fucking sucks, dude.
And they consider their options accordingly, reminds one once again of United 93. The passengers watch live news coverage of their allegedly hijacked plane, with commentators speculating that he's a mentally unstable air marshal turned terrorist. Given the elaborate plot, which includes a bomb on board the plane, the air marshal suggests that it was never about the money.
It's not about the money.
Dude, it's 8:30. It feels like it's like midnight. Why am I so sweepy today?
If I find him, I don't think he ever intended to get off this plane.
It's a suicide mission. It's revealed that the terrorists are a 2-person team.
Dude, and Gordon from *Halt and Catch Fire*. This movie is incredible. Non-stop. I gotta check this shit out.
A monologue from the mastermind explains
That's Gordon.
his motivation.
3,000 people
Yeah!
died that day, including my father. So I joined up because I wanted to go fight the cowards that did it. But I just ended up fighting a war that I still don't understand. It came home to a country where nothing had changed. Until now.
Unlike many post-9/11 villains, he was not interested in money. And he was not in the throes of insanity. He cogently explains that he had lost his father on 9/11. After deploying overseas in order to try to fight those responsible, he realized that he had been misled by his country and that the United States government bore responsibility for failing to stop the attacks. This complicated plot was an
But like, why isn't he going and blowing up Peter Thiel's house or something, you know? What the frick? Why is he taking it out on poor Liam Neeson? What did he ever do?
Attempt to exploit the weaknesses in airport security in order to show that 9/11 could be repeated. The film ends happily as the air marshal overcomes and kills the 2 attackers. Like Flight Plan, he is vindicated, and those who doubted him are apologetic.
Wait, I'm confused. There's 2 planes flying right next to each other?
I've spoken about Zero Dark 30 in a previous video, a Patreon exclusive about Osama bin Laden. 9/11 is prominently featured in the opening sequence. There's no visuals, just a black screen that reads September 11th, 2001. It's the audio that sets the scene and creates the harrowing atmosphere.
Dude, them doing it on the 11th and the buildings looking like an 11th was honestly a really pro move by the CIA. I like that. That's a good detail.
Included in the montage are air traffic control recordings, radio chatter from first responders, and most chillingly, 911 calls and calls to family members. Geoff King writes in an essay featured in American Cinema in the Shadow of 9/11, a stark impression is created, sustained for nearly 90 seconds. one that seeks to evoke the horror of the occasion without what might be seen as the exploitative use of any visual representation. At least 2 families criticized the filmmakers for including recordings of their loved ones: the family of American Airlines flight attendant Betty Ong and equities trader Bradley Fetchett, who worked in the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Ong's family said, unlike other productions, the Zero Dark 30 film crew did not ask their permission. They had previously been asked when numerous other documentaries were made about 9/11. Ong's family specifically decried the film's depiction of torture as well, probably the most controversial aspect of the film. King continues, the initial evocation of 9/11 and the representation of further attacks functions effectively in the film to imply a justification for the torture of detainees, part of the purpose of which is presented as seeking to prevent upcoming bombings, and for the general mission that increasingly comes to narrow down to the hunt for bin Laden.
Yeah.
The lengthy torture scene that follows the initial heart-rending sequence, committed by protagonists that the viewer is encouraged to be sympathetic with, earned the film considerable criticism. Upon the film's release, the acting CIA director Michael Morrell said in a statement to agency employees that the film takes significant artistic license, while portraying itself as being historically accurate. He gave a number of examples in which the film departs from reality, including creating the strong impression that the enhanced interrogation techniques were the key to finding bin Laden. That impression is false. PBS's Frontline covered the movie in detail, including how the Central Intelligence Agency put their full weight behind the film. Frontline spoke to a number of highly skeptical journalists who covered the story. They also interviewed Dianne Feinstein, who then chaired the Senate Intelligence Committee. Feinstein says she walked out of the theater.
I walked out of Zero Dark 30, candidly. We were having a showing, and I got into it about 15, 20 minutes and left. I couldn't handle it because it's so
He loves torture.
False. Waterboarding KSM 183 times did not work. And essentially, by the CIA's own standard of why they
Dianne doesn't like the CIA?
did this, they did not receive otherwise unavailable, actionable intelligence.
Damn, bro. Alright, I guess we gotta watch Flight Plan. Oh, goodness. Wait, Dre Dossier is just going on
the way to think of
business as usual. Elon Musk's secret surgery center.
the Neuralink device is kind of like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch.
I'm excited to show you guys the most futuristic technology on the planet. But next, we're going with the $10,000 technology.
If only they hijacked 9 planes for true synchronicity. Bro, imagine. They just hit one after the other, doom, 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 into each of the towers.
Neuralink.
And really, I think you can solve a very wide range of brain injuries, including severe depression, morbid obesity.
Ooh, he's saying that if you have depression, your brain is injured, and he's gonna fix it with Neuralink. Another thing in Westworld, put your little palate thing in the top of your mouth.
Once
Get all blissed out.
The Neuralink actually works, and you can be in symbiosis with technology and just download things to your brain. You'll be able to make so much money that it doesn't matter how much the procedure will cost. Anyone,
dude, what are you saying? This is crazy talk.
Be able to afford it, essentially.
It's just that the data rate to the electronics is slow, and that's what sort of the idea behind Neuralink is to try to more tightly couple collective human will to digital superintelligence.
Digital superintelligence.
From self-driving cars that come with a pretty big asterisk called supervision to a Mars mission that seems to be mistaking Mars for the bottom of the Indian Ocean, the Elon Musk cinematic universe seems to be a lot more interested in selling you the trailer of the future rather than actually delivering it. And with SpaceX's IPO making him the world's first trillionaire, the pattern is only becoming more evident. Well, except there is one anomaly. You know, one company of his that people don't seem to talk about quite as much, and that seems to be showing up a lot faster than anyone could have ever expected.
Hush, Dre. What's this?
So I want to bring in meteorologist Darren Peck to talk more about this. We're talking about at least 30
aftershocks hit Venezuela after powerful earthquakes.
Aftershocks have struck Venezuela since those two.
Whoa, they drew a big ass dick up on this shit.
Powerful earthquakes, not to mention the country.
Tell me this ain't a dick, dude.
So I want to bring in meteorologist Darren Peck.
That's a dick with big old balls in someone's hand. Why'd they draw this? That's a big schlonger. It's distracting. See, it's like... That's like the schlong, balls. Right? You guys catching me here? Balls, shaft, big wart, head of penis, looks uncirced, kept skin, and then this is the thumb. Oh, maybe he painted his nails red. That's what this is, and not a blister. Could be, though.
Peck to talk more about this. We're talking about at least 30 aftershocks have struck Venezuela since those two powerful earthquakes, not to mention the country particularly vulnerable to earthquakes because it's on an active tectonic boundary. So what else do we know?
A lot of really poor construction. And that's why I think we should probably prepare ourselves for the number of fatalities to go up in the next 2 days from what we're hearing. But first, let's talk about what the most important part of this is. There's going to be after.
Yo, bro is getting mogged. Wait, hold on. I'm zoomed in too far. Bro is getting mogged by this reporter. Wait for it. Yo, look at this little hobbitses. Dude, what the actual heli? What the helion? What the Halle Berry?
So I want to bring in meteorologist Darren Peck to talk more about this. We're talking about at least 30 aftershocks have struck Venezuela.
Yo, he's 5'4", dude. Or, I mean, 4'3".
Since those two powerful earthquakes, not to mention the country particularly vulnerable to earthquakes because it's on an active tectonic boundary. So what else do we know?
A lot of really poor construction. And that's why I think we should probably prepare ourselves for the number of fatalities to go up in the next 2 days from what we're hearing. But first, let's talk about what the most important part of this is. There's going to be aftershocks to this. It was 2 7+ magnitude earthquakes. We actually call that a doublet. It's a technical USGS technological term. When you have 2 significant earthquakes like that happen one right after the other, but the big one was 7.5. The other one was pretty close to that. Let's come over this way. USGS has been able to put out pretty specific forecasts during big events like this. It's going to look a little odd behind me, but what you're looking at is the probability forecast for the intensity of aftershocks. So here, I've got some good news on this. There's a bunch of color bars on here. The one I want to talk about is the possibility of a magnitude 6.0 aftershock. Because
I wonder if the earthquake felt like dung 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 dung, like a steady beat, like the one that hit in New York around 2024. That was crazy, but earthquakes shouldn't have a regular fucking beat like a metronome to them. Do 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 do. The heck?
Earlier today, there was about a 40% chance we would likely still see aftershocks, or at least an aftershock, as strong as a 6.0, which in its own right is a significant earthquake. But when you put that on top of this compromised buildings all over this part of Venezuela now, it's a very big concern. I have some good news on that. Here's the orange number up here. So it's a 20% chance. All right, on the downside, there's still a 20% chance that we could still have an aftershock that exceeds 6.0. But earlier today, it was 40%. My point is, the farther we get in time here, without getting any of those real significant aftershocks, the odds go down. But if you look at the numbers here, there are still very high probabilities of magnitudes 3s and 4s. They're going to have them. They're going to keep going. Right now, the official fatality count's in the hundreds. I know this looks odd too, but the USGS has been putting together these probability forecasts for a very unpleasant statistics when major earthquakes like this happen. It's the likely fatalities. What I just draw our attention to is the probabilities here point to numbers being in the tens of thousands. We're not going to try and put an exact number on it, but I'm just trying to prepare the notion of this is an early part of this story, and we will probably have to deal with the numbers of fatalities going much larger than what we've been hearing in the very initial reports. So a developing story for sure, Juliet. Back to you.
Darren, thank you.
Whatever, dude. Fucking fly snuck in here. God damn it.
Why the two of you titled this book Regime Change.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
We sort of a couple of months into the presidency realized that we weren't just covering a transition from a Democratic president to a Republican president. And in fact, it was nothing like what we covered in the first term in the way he was using executive power. The premise for the title, Regime Change, was that we're used to talking about regime change in foreign countries and covering regime change in foreign countries. It's a much more uncomfortable and challenging task to think about a regime change in our own country. And when you look at what he's done as president, the way he's used executive power, it's like nothing we've seen in our lifetimes. You can go across the gamut. When George W. Bush went to war in Iraq and Afghanistan, you know, as flawed as the decision-making was, there was a process of getting approval by Congress, the branch of government under the Constitution that has the power to declare war. Trump didn't even talk to Congress. He just went to war. When he went and snatched a foreign sovereign head of state out of his bedroom in his pajamas in the middle of the night and forced regime change in Venezuela, he didn't talk to anyone in Congress. When he started a trade war with the whole world based on authorities which, you know, once the courts caught up to it, you know, were invalid, again, there's no consultation. So it's unilateral expressions of power like we haven't seen in our lifetimes. And what we wanted to do in the book was to really emphasize what's in front of our own eyes and try to dig deeper and show people how it's working in there, how this country is being run by the very small group of people that are in charge of this country.
Yeah, and you do that very effectively. New details about one of his closest aides, Natalie Harp. Maggie and Jonathan report on how she became the president's gateway to information, supplying him with positive news stories and pro-Trump social media posts. They also write how she would often read the materials out loud to the president and later give him physical copies from a portable printer that she kept on her. According to the new book, Harp, quote, wrote Trump adoring letters that she left in his personal spaces, including one that read, "You are all that matters to me." Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, told others that she remembered thinking,
she thirsty, yearning for Trump. That's crazy, bro.
Where am I? And that Trump had taken to telling his staff that Natalie was the only one who loved him as much as his wife and his kids, adding, all of you will go off and make money and she'll never leave me. I mean, Maggie, obviously those of us who cover the president know Natalie Harp. Obviously she's typically by his side all the time. For people at home, though, and as you're looking at the realm of figures that are surrounding him in this second term, what does this say to you?
Nasty.
So a couple of things, Caitlin. Natalie Harp became omnipresent in the campaign, and we write about that. She was not one of the original people in 2021 in this very small group of people who was there, but you know, at some point in 2022, she became somebody who was constantly with him on the golf courses when he was in Florida. Again, with they would refer to her as the human printer because she had this portable printer where she would.
They just called her the human printer.
Hand him pieces of positive information. What it says is that he wants to keep people around who either, you know, make him happy or feed him information that he prefers to hear.
And then
we're
going to watch a
scenes that we have
CopyZilla
in the
video
book
instead of this shit.
is him demanding the quote-unquote real numbers during a tariff discussion when he is being told by his own staff what the actual numbers are, and he wants Natalie to go get him some different set of numbers that just didn't comport with reality. And he is more interested in information that he wants to hear and in seeking out something that validates what he believes, you know, that he has always been interested in that. It was just harder for him to get. This time, it is much easier. And Natalie Harp is one of the people who took over posting duties to the president's Truth Social post in this term, and that makes her fairly significant.
Yeah, I mean, Maggie, that part really stood out to me because basically, you know, he was talking to the Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. I mean, this passage of the book talks about what he's hearing from all of these staffers, and he's telling Natalie, go find the good numbers that she had pulled up for him. I mean, it kind of takes you into how he equates his staff in terms of experience and whether they're in the cabinet or a staffer who follows him around.
No, that's right. I mean, one of the things we used to hear
Yo, don't make fun of this poor little girl. She's just trying to be Trump's new girlfriend. Crazy. All right. Wait, we were talking about Rick Rubin the other day, right? Yeah, with Ty, right? He's such a bozo. Okay, apparently he's fucking with Polymarket and all these tech bros. This dude's a fucking idiot. Let's go.
Today I talked to two journalists who ran two massive investigations you'll hear about almost nowhere else. The Wall Street Journal, Politico, both talking about how Polymarket has been running deceptive ads. They're hyping up the odds of your success, many times not disclosing that they are paid to do so, and even worse, a lot of the trades are completely fake. Not only that, these investigations heavily imply that Polymarket knew and facilitated a lot of this deception, even going so far as to create a fake website for these people to put their fake bets on. It's a bombshell allegations, and I really was like, well, why aren't more people talking about it? And then I realized, oh yeah, because so many people are on the take from the prediction market industry. They aren't exactly unbiased sources. They're making money from this industry. They have a vested interest in making it look as good as possible. You have huge celebrities like Rick Rubin, like Timothy Chalamet. You gonna hear about it from the news? Oh, sorry. Well, CNN actually has a prediction market partnership with Kalshi. You gonna hear about it from Fox?
CNN's fucking with Kalshi? Fox is fucking with Kalshi?
News? Oh, no, actually, they have a prediction market partnership with Kalshi once again. Are you gonna hear about it from the Wall Street Journal? Well, actually, yes, but the Dow Jones is actually partnered also with Polymarket. This is a fun fact that was brought up to me by one of the journalists who wrote the story as a line of disclosure they had to make, actually.
My name is Caitlin Ostroff. I'm a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, and we just did a piece on how Polymarket is paying for deceptive bets to be shown on your social media feed. And even the Wall Street Journal, our parent company, Dow Jones, is a partner of Polymarket. So, like, you know, that is a fun line of disclosure that we get to put in literally everything we do. It's the highlight of my day.
Yeah, what a disaster. You run this incredible piece of hard-hitting journalism only to find out your parent company has a partnership with that company. Now, credit to them for reporting it. You know, it's a huge bombshell. Obviously, Polymarket is probably not happy with it at all. And basically, the central finding is all around not only fake bets, but all these videos that were going out showing people making a ton of money. It turns out it was happening a lot of the times on a fake website that Polymarket set up. So I'm gonna have you—
Dude, I'm telling you, all of these, you know, these influencers that do like rain bet ads, I'm telling you, they have a totally separate app that they're playing with, or like totally different odds. It's all fake, dude. It's so, and it's crazy that, like, there's one conspiracy creator that I kind of like. He's got like shaggy hair and he's always wearing sunglasses at his big desk, and he started doing rain bet ads. Like, come on, dude. And you don't have to report that it's an ad? That's crazy.
You watch a few of these videos and notice the URL.
Bro, what? Will Trump say April Fool's this week? 4%? Bro, what the?
Want to be accused of April Fool's?
Yes!
Trump say McDonald's in January?
This is so... This is so bad, dude. This is not okay.
But you know, in the old days, McDonald's...
Yo! Now, there's a lot more videos just like those. The general format is they make a long shot bet, get paid out a ton of money. Isn't that so wonderful? And if you look at the URL, it very clearly says Polymarket, or at least... well, that's what I think that says. I'm zooming in. It looks like Polymarket, but the Wall Street Journal says it's a different website entirely.
We have spoken to people who have told us that Polymarket created this website. That this website, Polymarket, was made by Polymarket.
Wait, you said I didn't just have an aneurysm. I just heard Polymarket. What?
This
what
is
are you
at least
talking
what
about?
we have called it. This is the so.
Oh, because it's a capital I.
Polymarket has created this program where they have told college-age creators to film content promoting the website, and as part of that, they should film themselves making trades. Now, to film these trades, Polymarket, our reporting shows, created a fake website called Poi Market, or at least that's what we are calling it, but it's P-O-I-Y Market. And when the I is capitalized, it looks exactly like the real thing in terms of the URL. But when you look at the actual website where the trades are being placed, there's a bunch of discrepancies that we found, which led us to realize that a lot of these bets that are being placed weren't actually on Polymarket's websites. They're on this fake website that Polymarket gave creators access to go and make what looked like real bets.
Guys, to state the obvious, I don't know who thought of this.
That's
One,
crazy, dude.
diabolical.
Yeah.
Two, I mean, dude, I cannot tell. I spelled, by the way, one with an I, one with an L, but I forgot which one I spelled with an L. And I literally looking at it right now. I just wrote this. I can't tell the difference between the two. Those are not the same URL. And that was the cheat code they were basically using, was giving the creators the one where it looks like, you know, when you're taking the cell phone cam of your browser, it's going to show the actual browser. And so it looks like, oh, Polymarket, you're actually at their secret poymarket.com, where they were running a simulated version of the website to do fake trades for fake bets. So it looks like they could get rich. You know, which is fraud, by the way. I mean, you know, that's my personal opinion. I mean, I don't think you can just deceive people into thinking, oh, that's a real product video when it's a complete fake.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, it's so easy to get rich, like all these guys trading. Look at all these college-age people like you. Get in our app early, right, while you're young, while we can get you hooked into our platform. And actually, the truth of the financial impact of these trades is much different than what they tell you.
Yeah, there was 118 bets that appeared like the person won in the video, and more than half of those would have lost in real life. And if you look at the amount that people were supposed to win, one that was paid out, if you replicated all of those trades, you would have lost $166,000.
So it turns out, if you actually did all these get-rich-quick bets that are looking like many times they're actually paying out on these social media videos, you'd actually be in over $100,000 of debt. Which is, you know, more than a lot of colleges get you into, which is crazy, because college is the big debt trap. And it turns out that these people who are trying to present this college side hustle are presenting you with an even worse debt trap. It's also, hey, why not spin up a gambling addiction while you're at it? And of course, the reason to spin up that gambling addiction, the possibility of great riches, was a farce. It was a smokescreen of advertising. Now, maybe you're thinking, look, hey, Steven, get real. This is what casinos do. And that's exactly the point. For a long time, for years now, the playbook of this industry, prediction markets, has been they're not casinos. They are event contracts. They're not gambling. They're hedging economic exposure. It's not a parlay. It's a combo, right? They have all these euphemisms for everything. But it turns out when you actually look under the hood, like they're doing all the same things, including, by the way, the marketing playbook, which, yes, has been fake bet slips, fake influencer winnings, influencers pretending, you know, they're making all this money. And then on the most dastardly side, even the platforms themselves getting involved with the deception, which appears to be what the Wall Street Journal is alleging here. Polymarket setting up this poi market itself. Now, maybe you're wondering, well, did they really know? You know, they actually made a statement saying, quote, they're committed to maintaining accurate, fair, and transparent markets. We are part of a rapidly growing industry and constantly evaluating ways to improve how we're engaging and earning the trust of our audience. The company says it plans to conduct a comprehensive audit of active promotional content. Guys, they're going to investigate themselves. But now's where we turn to the Politico story.
I'm Maya Kaufman. I'm a reporter for Politico, and I wrote about how paid influencers are hyping Polymarket's odds.
This was, once again, about a lot of undisclosed promotions. This time, instead of college students, it was a lot of like progressive and conservative commentators that they caught on the take many times. Undisclosed promotions. But what's worse about this one is who's doing the paying. It turns out it's the company's chief marketing officer, Matthew Madaber, who used a personal PayPal account to send money to content creators. Now, why does it matter that the CMOs getting involved with...
How much do they get? I gotta know. Let me know.
Particularly paying people. Well, again, they claim like, oh, you know, we're trying to improve trust. We're going to do a comprehensive audit. Well, that all has to imply that they didn't know about this fake website, right? At the highest level, oh, this is just some rogue intern somewhere.
Burn down casinos. Fuck you. You got Lobster Mac tonight?
So what does it look like when the CMO is involved?
We found
Oh, wait, I Am Zane said, it's time for white people to leave Native Americans alone. Yeah, wait, leave the casinos for a minute.
He was using a personal PayPal account to send
I mean the online ones. Yeah.
money to all kinds of influencers, and we were able to verify the identities of about 24 influencers who all combined were.
We can agree to burn down Vegas, though, right? And Atlantic City. Those places can fucking burn to the ground.
Receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars of payments from this PayPal.
Not disclosed. Like many of these people's, their audiences had no idea that there were these posts, and they didn't know they were basically paid to promote either the trustworthiness of Polymarket, to promote certain mayoral bets, to promote, different event contracts, whatever you want to call them. But, it's kind of funny. The thing that I've been thinking about is these are companies that purport to be about truth, right? They say they are better engines for truth. And yet this is deception right at the heart of getting in the front door.
Yeah, the FTC has rules around advertising disclosure for precisely this reason. They want people who are seeing paid promotions to know that these are paid promotions. And our data team did an analysis of the posts from all of the influencers that we identified. And during a 14-month span, we found that they posted at least 490 times on X without disclosures about Polymarket.
So, yeah, the CMO didn't notice that. The CMO didn't notice all these people he's paying from his personal PayPal are not disclosing its paid ad. And so Polymarket knew, hey, it's better engagement if these people don't say they're paid by us. It looks better as some organic thing, right? So that's what you see over and over again. Once again, the casino playbook. But forever, they've been denying the allegations of. We see it time and time again. And these two investigations brought it all together. You have the fake betting website, and then you have the CMO directly involved with a lot of these partnerships that are not disclosing these advertisements. Now, of course, I don't want to leave you with the impression that Polymarket is the only one who might have done activity like this. They're just the most credibly accused right now. To be clear, this industry is extremely competitive. Everyone's trying to jump in, trying to use growth at all costs to start it. The king of steal your idea, Mark Zuckerberg, has recently directed Meta to create a prediction markets app. And Mark Zuckerberg knows a good platform idea for exploiting teens when he sees one. I mean, wow, he must be lights out with this idea. Right now, the New York Times claims users would not wager money and the apps would probably rely on video game points, although the company has not rolled out the eventual use of real money betting. Let's be honest, we know where this is headed. Even the president himself, Truth Social, I think they're starting a Truth Predict, or they're trying to. You've got the president's son. I believe he's some type of advisor for Kalshi, which the CEO of Kalshi was actually asked about, why would you actually bring on this guy? What experience does he bring? And the answer there is pretty priceless.
Why did you guys make Donald Trump Jr. a strategic advisor?
We have a lot of advisors, and they span across the board, across different functions. But really, this is all about growing this industry, the prediction market industry that a lot of people really believe in.
What kind of advice does he give you?
So it really is, again, about growing prediction markets.
Does he come to meetings? How much do you pay him? What's his role? I mean, this is the son of the president.
We have a lot of advisors.
He's not just any advisor. He has a direct line to the White House.
We have a lot of advisors.
Yeah, the reality is people are going to do anything to grab as much of this market as they can, which is essentially like casinos, but legal in all 50 states and on your phone. I mean, that's basically the pitch. There's obviously going to be a lot of money, and people are willing to kind of do whatever it takes. But of course, that begs the question. Well, if that's the case, then we need to rely on regulators in order to stop the excesses of people trying to grab as much money as possible. And, there are rules in place, as Maya, the reporter, actually talked about. There's the FTC guidelines. You are not supposed to promote something and not disclose it. Of course, that's what a lot of people have done. So I wanted to know, do these reporters believe that something's actually going to happen here?
We did ask the FTC about what we found. We presented a summary of our reporting, and we asked, is this something that would fall under their rules? And they didn't respond to any of my follow-up emails. So my indication is I really don't have that much insight into what they're thinking about this, if at all. Generally, these agencies, if they do have investigations, they're not confirming those to reporters while they're open. But the silence, I think, was pretty deafening when we reached out to them.
Honestly, no idea. It's really weird being a journalist these days, and really at any point in history, because you never quite know what the public reaction will be. I mean, we haven't heard anything specific from the CFTC, but also generally government agencies don't comment on if they were going to do investigations into much of anything. So, if they want to investigate, that is their right, but we haven't heard anything.
Well, at least they're honest. We don't truly know what's going to happen, although personally, I'll just give my opinion. I don't think they're going to be investigated for this. Poly market, I don't think, any of these prediction markets are really going to get meaningfully regulated, and I think that's a bad thing for everyone else. And specifically, I hope this video has shown, if somebody's telling you otherwise, I would ask the question, are you paid? Because even if they didn't disclose it, does it mean they aren't still on the payroll? Big thanks to the two reporters who spoke to me from the Wall Street Journal and Politico today. I'll leave their article below as well as their co-authors. And thank you so much for watching.
Oh shit, is this that church that you're talking about in Dallas? They're gonna demolish this shit? Why? Yo, that's what it looks like? That's pretty cool. Looks kind of new though. It looks like a frickin' seashell. It's kind of dope. They're burning down. Oh, they burned down a big ass church in Brooklyn last week.
A ship attacked in the Strait of Hormuz. This is the first time in 9 weeks. It's a cargo ship that had just passed through the Strait of Hormuz.
9 weeks.
It was attacked by Iran. A strike that
7-minute warning.
Leaves any sort of an agreement between Trump and Iran as shaky and amorphous and undefined, and how many synonyms can I come up with on that, as it already was, is in question tonight. Now, what we know about this attack is that a cargo ship was hit by a one-way attack drone, according to the Wall Street Journal, which also reports that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps was responsible. Now, Tehran is just showing the obvious here, though, but this action speaking louder than any word, showing that, yes, they are still in control of the Strait of Hormuz. They can shut it down whenever they want, despite what Trump just claimed.
As long as they respect us, I don't want to use the word fear, because that's an inappropriate word, but as long as they respect us, we're not going to have any trouble. We have total control of the Strait.
Now, obviously, if you have total control of the Strait, other countries aren't bombing ships in the Strait. Okay, that's just to state the obvious. And it's not the only thing that we've been pointing out, that Iran and the United States are just having completely different tales about. Trump says there's not going to be any that there will be nuclear inspectors inside Iran. I'm sorry. Iran is adamant that there will not be. Iran's president said its missiles are also not part of the agreement, saying, quote, the discussion over our missiles does not exist in the memorandum of understanding, and it never will, which is really mind-boggling, because Trump said when he started the entire war, as one of the core tenets of the reason that he bombed Iran was to limit the country's missile program.
Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and their capacity to produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make.
It raises big questions about this so-called agreement.
So-called agreement and the negotiations. I mean, part of the 60-day negotiations, the 60-day deal that reopens the Strait of Hormuz, says that in exchange for the United States removing the naval blockade, that Iran will ensure, or to the best that they can, ensure the safe passage of these commercial vehicles or vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. That is clearly not what they did here. It does not say only have these vessels go through Tehran's route.
Freemasonry isn't so free if you have to pay for it yourself. If you have to build it yourself.
And that is what we heard from the Iran Revolutionary Guard. They had put out a statement before they actually attacked this ship, and they said in it that safe passage through the strait was limited to routes designated.
Whatever, lady.
So, is this just a coincidence? I don't know, you tell me. Now, as most of you are aware, there were multiple earthquakes that happened yesterday, with two of the biggest being in Venezuela almost back to back, a 7.2, and then 40 seconds later, a 7.5, which is kind of weird because usually you'll see the stronger one first and then the weaker one after, but here it happened in reverse. But they're saying this is because the 7.5 was no aftershock, it was its own separate earthquake that happened immediately after, mainly affecting areas like San Felipe and Caracas. There were multiple buildings that had collapsed, and as of this recording, it's been reported that there was over 100 people that have passed away. The Venezuelan government saying it's about 188 people so far, but the USGS said it could be anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 people. But what the USGS is giving is not an actual count, but just an estimate due to the severity and uniqueness of these two earthquakes. There were other notable earthquakes that happened that day as well, like the 6.9 that occurred off northern Japan, and also the 5.6 in Northern California. But when it comes to Venezuela, they've never seen anything like this before. The strongest earthquake that supposedly happened there anyway was over 100 years ago, and yes, it was a 7.7, but never have they seen two 7.0 plus magnitude earthquakes back to back in a matter of seconds happen at one time. These very unique twin earthquakes also happened on a very interesting day as well. A lot of people were home celebrating a day which led to their Independence Day. They were celebrating the Battle of Carabobo Day, a public holiday marking the 1821 victory that helped secure the country's independence from Spain. It's almost very similar to a massive historic earthquake striking the United States while Americans were celebrating July 4th. It's just very interesting symbolism given the fact that we have multiple news articles talking about how Caracas is the same location that Nicolas Maduro and his wife were captured a year ago, and now a little over a year later, a lot of the infrastructure in this location is being wiped out. And a lot of people made a very eerie connection to a video game called Call of Duty Ghost that had an objective where you go to Caracas to capture the leader who's very similar to Nicolas Maduro. But not just that, the game also shows us that Caracas is almost nearly destroyed. A flood wipes out almost all of its infrastructure, but it just happens to get rebuilt in 2027 into a very advanced city, very similar to a smart city. And they're showing us all this back in 2013, a leader being taken out that's similar to Maduro, Caracas destroyed, and rebuilt by 2027. Not sure if that's a quote-unquote coincidence given the fact of everything we're seeing playing out now, but moving on to another quote-unquote coincidence. Now, when I talk about certain things on this channel, I look at the timing, and something else also happened yesterday that had me going, that's a very odd coincidence. A lot of people are talking about how CERN will be shutting down at the end of this month, shutting down the Large Hadron Collider on June 29th due to upgrades. It'll return 3 years later, June 2030, as the High Luminosity Large Hadron Collider with the power of 10-fold. But what a lot of people are not talking about is just how active CERN has been. Like, for example, reading this article on CERN's website.
Dude, I fucking hate CERN. Look at their butthole that they're worshiping. Happy 9/11. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, boys. Here we go.
Checks. I went right down to Virginia and I said me next. They said go you to the schools and spread the good news. I said I need a bulletproof vest and some good running shoes. They said we got those. I said cool. Where at? They said they're next to the spoons, making everyone fat. Now I was rolling my eyes like a rolling stone when Uncle Huckabee called me on the telephone. He said I'm raising up money for people in need. I said, of course, Uncle Huck, that's truth is starving indeed. He said, the Lord's at work here, boy, and the job ain't done. Son, you need Jesus, and Jesus needs guns.
Jesus needs guns.
It makes no sense. One man's terror is another man's about K-hold out, but he left behind big balls like some vestigial tail, and then balls went to town and they got beat all to hell. Some days the
I think Maduro's in Brooklyn in a jail.
It's hard when the Dojin don't work. You'd better call in the guard. The citrus Caesar and the Telian Prince were throwing it all at the wall just to see what would stick. Even I got distracted. That weather was bad. That was the iciest summer that I've ever had. Some days I forget that Cracker Barrels exist, but there ain't no one forgetting about that list. It makes no sense. One man's crimes, another man's intelligence. The Nostradamus of Austin cried out to the Lord. He said them frogs might be gay, but I'll still be your sword. While television anchors talked at the air, does I make a noise if there ain't nobody there? This ain't no country for cable, said the wisest of men. Honey, crank up the tucker while I pack me a Zen. Now it was getting kinda late, so I went back to the morgue. They were doing the autopsy of July 4th. I said, hold the scalpel, boys. She ain't dead yet. I got a parlay on China. We can still win the bet. The technician was drunk on muscadine wine. He said, I'm going to Mars. I said, good riddance, goodbye. It makes no sense. You can leave if you want, but all your problems go with.
Bye-bye. Another successful 9/11. Hell yeah. The Nitwitch General Store needs a baseball cap that says, "Make false flags great again to send to Paul this Christmas." Totally, dude. I know, honestly, they are so fucking lame now, right? Oh yeah, wait, let's watch part 2 of Kiki Ray Reel, her video about Clive Davis.
When he passed away at the age of 94, nice and comfortable in his home, and every dollar of that $850 million was built off the backs of artists who did not live to see 50. Now, in the first video, I told y'all about the airplanes. I told y'all about the unsolved murders. I told y'all about who bought the catalogs. I told you about who kept getting the checks after the artist passed. I told you about the clauses. And I told you about the post-death releases. But baby, today we're going to talk about the artist who screamed it. Who screamed out the pattern that I'm telling you about right now. And baby, buckle up, because these are the artists who screamed it publicly, who wrote it on signs, on their bodies, had witnesses, said it with speeches, and wrote it with their own words in songs. And their fate still ended up the same way. And this is where it goes from no longer being a pattern, but to something else entirely. Let's start in 1971, okay? Motown's #1 male recording artist signed to a label who told him what to say, what to write, what to record, when to record it, and how it should sound. But then he had something to say about the war in Vietnam, about police brutality, about the state of the world. And the label told him it was the worst thing they had ever heard, and they refused to release it. He released it anyway, and it did so well that they were forced to renegotiate his contract, making him the highest earning black artist on that label. So he won that round, but the label kept coming. They altered and released his album without his consent, even after he said it was unfinished. So he left Motown. He made a comeback, won his first 2 Grammys, was on his first world tour, and was shot by his own father with a pew-pew he had given his father as a gift. Now, his daddy claimed it was self-defense, but that's neither here nor there. The label, the catalog, made the label over hundreds of millions of dollars. He fought the label his whole life, and the label outlived him and kept collecting checks off his voice and his name. 2002, Harlem. Let's talk about the artist who didn't just fight behind closed doors, but stood at a podium at a civil rights organization's headquarters one night in Harlem and said, with a minister standing next to him, recorded, documented, written down, these are his words. Throughout the years, Black artists have been taken advantage of completely. People like James Brown, Sammy Davis Jr., the pioneers, the real pioneers who inspired me. These artists were always on tour because if they stopped touring, they would be broke. Then he said, the record companies do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially against Black artists. Then he said something that I think should have stopped the industry in its tracks. He said, we pioneer, we innovate. And at the end of the story, it's not an accident. It happens on purpose. And then he held up a sign of the name of his label, the CEO, with devil horns on his head, a pitchfork, and a tail. And the sign read, Sony Music Kills. That was in 2002, and he was leaving the label. He owned half their publishing, and they were furious about it. 7 years later, he's found in his home dead after a physician administered drugs, and this physician happened to be connected to the company that was orchestrating his comeback tour, the very company financing it. And after his death, the same label that he called out acquired 60% of his publishing estate, giving the label the right.
Michael Jackson died 17 years ago yesterday? God damn.
Rights to everything he spent his life protecting. He said it out loud in front of God and everybody, and the story still ended the same. The Brit Awards 1995, there was an artist who stopped using words altogether and instead changed his name legally to an unpronounceable symbol so that the record label could not own his identity. He appeared to an award show with the word slave written on his cheek. In one ceremony, his acceptance speech was 4 words. In concert, perfectly free. On record, slave. He told Rolling Stone that people think I'm a fool for writing slave on my face, but if I can't do what I want to do, what am I? He said, when you stop a man from dreaming, he becomes a slave. He said, I don't own my own music. I don't own my masters. When you don't own your masters, your master owns you. He eventually got his masters back in 2014, and 2 years later, he was...
Yeah, Rabbi Shmuley was Michael Jackson's rabbi, even though he was Jehovah's Witness.
He died without a will, with one of the largest vaults of unreleased music in recorded history of sound. And baby, when he died, the vault opened and the money started flowing to everyone but him. Now, I could go on, but the point is this. That man who died, worth $850 million, had an empire that was built on the backs of artists who never got to see that empire come to fruition, who never got to have the freedom of owning the art that they created. And they knew something was very wrong, and they named it. And where are they now? And who are the ones still collecting a check? Clive Davis was worth $850 million when he passed away at the age of...
Yeah, it makes you think about Oliver Tree, dude. They probably killed his ass, bro. Not cool. Venezuela looks like it was bombed after 2 massive 7.1 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes. Pray for the people. This is really bad. More than 100,000 feared dead. Is it really... Like, dude, there's no... They were like 130 dead. Like, bro. There's... Every apartment complex is like falling over. But it says, sorry, this post was deleted. Damn.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield and this is Drop Dead Serious, and a huge development in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. You have probably been hearing a lot in the last few days about the ransom notes and an apology, and how it's now clear that Nancy Guthrie was said to have died during the abduction or sometime thereafter. The big news today is that CBS is actually releasing what the ransom note actually said, word for word. And what's chilling is that it said Savannah. It was addressed to Savannah. In fact,
who should it be addressed to? They want Savannah's money, right? This is all because of Savannah, right? She says, it's because I interviewed Jeffrey Epstein survivor Virginia Giuffre before I murdered her.
In fact, it actually opened with the words, "Hello, Savannah. We have your mother, Nancy." These are details that have been kept close to the vest, and by a lot of people, I will say, not just by investigators, because the ransom notes went to 3 different places. The first ransom note that was sent went to TMZ and 2 local stations in Tucson. And so everybody within those orbs kept that.
Who would send shit to a local station besides a boomer, an FBI agent boomer?
To themselves, kept those details to themselves. But only in the last week have a lot of these details started to come out. And today, CBS decided that it was time to actually put out some of the wording. One other piece of information that CBS is releasing is that the ransom, well, I'll just say the alleged ransom seekers, this alleged ransom note.
Do I think Peter Thiel can make earthquakes yet? Hell yeah, they can make earthquakes, dude. For sure. Everything's just a waveform. Everything's a vibration. So they just got to tap into the earth vibration and fuck with it. And they use scalar waves to do it. There's patents and shit for it from like the fucking 60s, bro. It's crazy. But, yeah, I mean, this could totally be natural. I'm just saying, it's pretty fucking convenient timing, right? Especially if it's as devastating as that, 100,000, that might be an overestimate, but it's still probably going to be a lot of people. Did people in Caracas feel it?
Indicated that they had knowledge of where in Nancy's bedroom her Apple Watch was located. And a lot of people have put a lot of stock in that. But I'm just going to say it's worth thinking about how many people have their Apple Watch charging on their bedstand.
What the fuck did I say? Yo, who is this? Ashley Banfield? Good looks. Ashley Banfield knows bail.
On their bed.
She knows ball, dude.
Side nightstand. And so was this a really big guess on the part of whoever wrote these ransom notes, or was this actual knowledge of a ransom seeker?
Knowledge.
We don't know. But CBS is now saying that the note actually contained detailed information where in the actual bedroom this Apple Watch was located. So what is so critical is the wording of the rest of the note. And those are some of the details that have started to come in. I've got news on that from Chris McDonough on why that is so unusual and rare for real ransom seekers. That's coming in a moment. The second note came days later. And it's this second note that was so key and is making news right now. The second note did not ask for money. We are learning a lot more details about that note now from the person who actually got eyes on that note. Brianna Whitney is a reporter, a fantastic reporter. At the time that all of this was happening, she worked for a local TV station that was part of Arizona Family. That is an overarching sort of company that owns television stations. And she got eyes on the actual note that came into one of the TV stations under the umbrella of Arizona Family. She no longer works for that TV station. She now works for Crime Junkie, a very popular podcast. But she has come forward to say, I have seen the actual wording of this note. And she has now divulged what the wording is. Lots of people were speculating and saying our sources say this and that. But Brianna Whitney actually knows what the words are. I'm going to tell you exactly what they are in just a moment. First, I just wanted to say thank you if you've already subscribed.
Oh my God. If you fucking tell me about Patreon, I'm going to flip my desk.
To this podcast, and if you haven't, please do, because it does us a huge solid. Also join the membership. We've got a really great membership going, and I do private events for the members. I'm going to do another one really soon, so it'd be nice to have you in our little coffee clutch. Okay, now to the reporting.
Patreon dodged.
I think the wording of this second note is super critical, okay? Because it tells us a lot about whoever these authors are. If the authors are the perpetrators.
I'm just Patreon jealous, I think.
Or if they aren't. Let me just go right to it. And again, this is from Brianna Whitney's reporting.
This lady's like 74. Leave her be.
She had eyes on the note. She said that the note said this, quote, "We never intended to hurt her in all of this." Meaning we never intended to hurt Nancy Guthrie in all of this business of...
Yeah, her weird smiley face necklace is kind of weird. The proportions are odd.
Getting her, asking for ransom, and now here comes note number 2. They admit, quote, "She perished shortly after she was taken." I got questions about using the word perished. Is that somebody who doesn't speak English as a first language, and this is the way they've translated it? That's my feeling. Because not many people say she perished. You'd say she died.
The FBI would say she perished. Some fucking goofy Mormon, yeah. Some goofy ass Mormon. Dude, and did they write this on a gun? We gotta know. Come on, show us the gun version. We want the picture.
She passed away, you know. But this is the wording. She perished shortly after she was taken, according to Brianna. The note goes on to say she was buried with nature. Again.
With nature. She was buried with nature. Okay, Fed. Who's writing this shit, bro?
A very odd choice of words for someone who is an English speaker. So I'm thinking maybe not. That sounds like someone who's been...
Corridor Crew talked about the mask-wearing dude on the news? Really?
Translating into English?
I know. Do you seriously think the FBI couldn't find her fucking mother? This is crazy, bro. What are you talking about? She's 90 years old, dude. She has a pacemaker. Just fucking beam it. Silly.
Nothing you could have...
And I don't even want to hear it. Just the cameras, bro. They're everywhere.
Done could have changed the outcome, and we are truly sorry.
I was just reading a comment that she's 74. I don't think she's 74. I don't think she's a day over 50. I'm just kidding. We don't care. She's nice. We like her. That Corridor Crew video sounds interesting, unless they fucking cucked it out. I mean, dude, it's not AI. It's a fucking mask, right? She's 83. Oh my god.
Important.
And a day over 69. Nice.
Sorry. Are you now? What kind of person are you? You wretched beast. Have you suddenly had...
All right, anyway, wait, what was this Liam Neeson shit?
Liam Neeson's niece, son. Liam Neeson's Nissan is Nissan and Nissan. Liam Neeson's niece, son. Liam Neeson's Nissan is Nissan and Nissan. Liam Neeson's niece, son. Liam Neeson's Nissan is Nissan and Nissan. Liam Neeson.
Was this a Vine?
Liam Neeson's niece, son. Liam Neeson's Nissan is Nissan and Nissan. Liam Neeson's niece, son. Liam Neeson's Nissan is Nissan and Nissan. Liam Neeson's niece.
More. TMZ founder Harvey Levin was in the Epstein files. Yeah, remember when that kid confronted him about it and he was like, oh, what? I didn't even know him. Stop. He's like, nah.
Son, Liam Neeson's Nissan is Nissan and Nissan. Liam Neeson's niece, son. Liam Neeson's Nissan is Nissan and Nissan. Liam Neeson.
Yo, that shit, that bar goes crazy style. Wait, were we gonna do something cool? What were we gonna do? We'll watch the rest of this till I remember. What the fuck were we just saying that we were gonna watch?
On June 14th, the experiments at the Large Hadron Collider had their last...
brain blank.
In the control rooms of Alice, Atlas, CMS, and the LHCb.
I'm pretty sure Liam Neeson founded TMZ. What the fuck? What are you talking about, Keith? That would be fucking hilarious.
The 4 major experiments at the accelerator, scientists watched the final collisions burst across their screens like colorful fireworks. So they had all 4 major experiments blasting at the same time. Now, who knows what happened when they did this or why they did this, but for whatever reason, on June 18th, they said they discovered something after running experiments back in 2024, a proton-like baryon particle, which they said is something that was predicted over a half a century ago, and here's the symbol for it, Omega CC, or Omega 33. I'll actually come back to this particle a little bit later on in the video because I found something that's pretty interesting. But CERN released something on June 24th that I was not aware that they do. It was a report of experiments they had conducted in prior years when it comes to experimenting with the weather. This experiment is called the Cloud Experiment.
What?
Just to be clear, I'm not blaming CERN for the set of earthquakes that happened yesterday, but what is the Cloud Experiment? According to CERN's website, is short for the Cosmics Leaving Outdoor Droplets Experiment, which uses a special cloud chamber to study the possible link between galactic cosmic rays and cloud formation. This is the first time a high-energy physics accelerator has been used to study atmospheric and climate science, the results which they say could contribute to much of their fundamental understanding of aerosols and clouds. CERN's article goes on to say that studies of these cosmic rays or charged particles may influence cloud cover either through the formation of new aerosols or by directly affecting clouds themselves. Clouds exert a strong influence on the Earth's energy balance. Changes of only a few % have an effect on the climate. Supposedly, they don't conduct any of these tests outside. They fire their particle accelerator inside a chamber. But again, I did not know that CERN does tests when it comes to the weather, testing charged particles inside of clouds. Now, while this was just a report that was released yesterday, again, interesting timing, it should be noted that the particle accelerator used in this experiment was indeed active yesterday. But what am I getting at here? Am I saying that clouds cause earthquakes? I'm not saying that, but let's take a look at a couple interesting things. Back in August of 2025, there was a 6.0 tremor that struck off the northeast coast of Taiwan. That same morning, prior to the earthquake, several people took photos of disc-shaped clouds tinged with orange and purple and shared them to Facebook. One person was quoted as saying, "This was taken in the morning of the earthquake. I felt something was unusual, so I captured it. Turns out it was an earthquake cloud." There were also other people sharing similar images of cloud formations they have seen on Facebook and Threads and linking those clouds to other massive earthquakes. Instantly, experts and fact checkers came out of the toilets and sewers they reside in to tell these people there is no such thing as earthquake clouds. That's just misinformation. What you saw was a rare atmospheric phenomenon called a lenticular cloud. Just happened to appear right before this earthquake. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Again,
wait,
it's just
R.I.P. Liam Neeson's wife. She died in like a skiing accident, right? But what? His son died too? Or child? What happened to the kid?
a coincidence. But let's use another example. Back on January 19th, 2023,
that cloud kind of looks like
this shaped cloud appeared again, but this time over in Turkey, and
a smiling mouth.
Then a couple weeks later in February of 2023, they received a massive 7.8 earthquake, which ended over 23,000 lives. Fact checkers once again came out of the toilets and sewers they reside in to tell us the two are not connected. It's just a strange phenomenon. Now, I'm sure these strange clouds don't appear over every earthquake event because there are
strange cloud not linked to HARP. Shut up,
natural
dude.
earthquakes, but did one appear over Venezuela prior to this earthquake? Well, shout out to a call for an uprising because it appears that it did.
Now, what you're seeing on the screen right now is an actual image of what occurred over Venezuela before and during the earthquake. I'm showing you a side-by-side shot. The side on the left, okay, you're going to see in the video clip that I show you that is somewhat viral all over the internet, where people aren't noticing the actual sky, they're just looking at the devastation. Look at the sky on the left. Look at the spirals in the sky, the swirls. It looks just like the cloud formation we saw over Turkey. And as the person pans the camera, you also notice that it's in one specific spot. And then as the camera pans, it looks like it's a totally different location because you just see clouds and gloomy skies, no sun anywhere around it. So you see sun in one spot, and as the camera pans to the left, you'll start to see just what looks like a totally different location. You would think by the screenshot I'm showing you, it was two different locations. This is all at the same time, so it shows you that it's a very bizarre situation occurring in the sky. Look.
Is this the one in Venezuela? Yo, those kind of look like that cloud. Oh, and bro, I posted that video about, you know, being like, I'm not saying that the CIA and the government has a fucking earthquake machine, but this is pretty convenient. Posted that on TikTok, and it got immediately removed, so whatever that says, you know. This is Venezuela, right? This is the
so
latest
again,
one?
this formation looks very similar to what occurred over Turkey. So
is it possible that these very odd-looking clouds could have something shot into it, like these cosmic rays, like CERN puts it, or these charged particles, and have a link to earthquakes? These same particles that CERN had been experimenting with for years now under their cloud experiment, that for whatever reason they put out a report on the same day as this massive earthquake in Venezuela. I don't know, but it is interesting to note that scientists do continue to study whether natural large-scale disturbances in the ionosphere, such as massive solar flares or cosmic radiation, which are cosmic rays, might influence the timing of an earthquake that is already critically stressed or on the verge of failing. But they go on to tell us that there is no mechanism for human-directed charged particles in weather clouds to replicate or magnify this effect. That we know of anyway. I mean, it's not like they're going to come out and tell us. Again, just to make it clear, I'm not blaming CERN for any earthquakes that took place yesterday. I just find it odd that we're finding out there conducting experiments on clouds with particles that are very similar to cosmic rays.
Computer, make the K in Keith's name a T. Teeth.
Rays, and that there are scientific hypotheses and
silly.
statistical studies linking cosmic rays, atmospheric cloud covers, and earthquakes. And even if it's not CERN, somebody out there could definitely benefit from the negative impacts when it comes to these studies. But I do want to go back to that strange particle that CERN had found. When CERN found this missing member of this particle family, which contained one strange quirk and two charm quirks, they posted this on Instagram. But look at the song they used, the instrumental version of SZA's Saturn. If you had heard this song, which I highly advise against, it's just blatant Saturn worship. They try to make an excuse of,
which I highly advise against.
It's just Saturn's return, it's escapism, it's astrology. But no, it's pure Saturn worship. So it's just a very interesting choice. They would use that song in connection with this missing piece that they found that's been theorized for nearly half a century, and they just found it right before they shut down, or told us they just now found it anyway, because supposedly they found it back in 2024, but shut down on June 29th. On the same day as this full strawberry moon, which, as coincidence may have it, will coincide and appear near Saturn in the night sky. Just a bunch of odd quote-unquote coincidences in a span of a few days. But there really is something to this. I can't put my finger on it. I'm going to have to come back to this. But there's just something very bizarre about this particle, Saturn, and CERN.
Hey everybody, 7 here, Grand Rising. Real quick, show of hands if you've been feeling the effects of the timeline hop CERN just put us through. Now, since the 14th, I've noticed that my sleep schedule's been off. I have next to no appetite and my energy levels are super low. And I was trying to figure out why, but then I saw that CERN was messing around and, you know, I'm pretty sure they pushed us into a new timeline because every single time this happens and every single time they conduct experiments, I feel this way. And I'm sure that's the same for most of you guys out there. Now, like I said, they fired this thing up on the 14th, did some experiments, doing a long shutdown. They're shutting it down on the 30th to go into an extended period of overhaul for 4 years. They're going to fire back up.
Turn that
in
bitch
2030.
off forever.
Now, the last time that they did an extended period of maintenance on the Super Collider was from 2018 to 2022. And we all know all kinds of stuff that happened during that period of time. Now, I'm curious, again, if we hop timelines, because every time this happens, it seems like the mind and the body don't catch up. You know, the mind gets there first, or the body gets there first, vice versa. But you feel the effects from this, and it's very real. And I don't care when anybody says this happens every single time to me. But what do you guys think is going to happen in the next 4 years while this thing's shut down? Because the last time it was shut down, from whatever they opened, whatever they let in, or let out, or did to this planet,
I don't know.
It wasn't. It was not the same reality that we all loved and knew.
I don't know.
But let's see what they did to us this time. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Be safe.
That video came from 7 Essence, and yeah, that time CERN was shut down between 2018 and 2022. I think a lot of people will agree they were some very, very odd and weird years. And given the fact that they will be shutting down again during the strawberry moon that will coincide with Saturn and this whole particle business, I think things are going to get far more weird. There may not be chaos and destruction, but maybe this time the Berenstein Bears will be named the Yogi Boob. The Yogi Poo-Poos, who really knows? But no worries, CERN's Taylor Swift, Particle Clara, is here to tell us there's nothing to worry about.
I know you don't want to hear this.
CERN's Taylor Swift.
But this is our timeline. As a CERN scientist, I get sent messages every single day from people accusing us of switching timelines or some other conspiracy theory, but we are in the timeline we have always been.
Get out of here, Taylor Swift, Cerny Swift.
The collisions that we do with the Large Hadron Collider are also happening naturally in our atmosphere and have been for billions of years. So what we are doing is what nature is already doing, but just in a more controlled way. And I know that some people are just trolling, but also I can empathize with the wish that there is some other better timeline out there and we could just, if only, switch to it. But this is the only timeline we've got. And if we want to live in the good timeline, then we are just going to have to come together and make it ourselves the regular way. We are going to have to work with empathy and hard work in order to make the timeline that we want to live in.
I feel like CERN just loves to troll. Why couldn't she just say, no, we're not switching timelines, and this is why? But no, she has to end it with, we have to make it ourselves. We have to make the timeline, the good timeline, but then that would insinuate that we are in the bad timeline. Like, I get what she's saying, but you know what I'm saying too.
What I'm about to explain to you right now is absolutely terrifying. Brace yourself. The reason why they have flock cameras everywhere here out in the middle of nowhere when I'm traveling, even in the city between municipality and municipality in New Jersey, where the speed limit goes from 25 to 55 to 35 to 45 to 55 to 25, is so that they can take away our driver's licenses. There's no way that you cannot break at least 3 to 5 traffic laws every single time you drive a car. You went over the fog line, you didn't use your blinker 100 foot prior. So when you lose your driver's license, then you're going to have to rent a car. You know, Elon Musk is creating these electric cars that don't have a driver and don't have a steering wheel. If you drive Lyft or Uber, you have less than 2 years and your job is gone. Now, after you lose your driver's license, you have to get the Elon electric car rental app. So you went on social media and you said something that was considered un-American. You said something that was considered bad because you spoke up against the people who control social media. You know who they are. And now you go to get on your app because you want to take a ride. You want to go to Delaney Hall and you want to add to the protest. And your app will say, I'm sorry, my programming won't allow me to take you there. Or even worse, you went on social media before the digital ID comes, because now they're using facial recognition, they're tracking your phone. This speaker right here is being tracked. And you go to call on your app and your app says to you, I'm sorry, sir, you violated terms and services. you can't get a ride today. So then you think, oh, I'll have my cousin call and I'll take a ride with him. You go to get in the car, and the cameras in the car read the facial recognition, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. DeCastro is not allowed to ride with you. Please exit the car, Mr. DeCastro. That's what's happening in our country. That's why Elon Musk wants driverless, steering wheel-less cars. Complete and total
is this guy driving?
dominion over us. Complete and total control over every aspect of our lives. That's why they're destroying all the old cars. All the junkyards across America are being burned. You've seen it.
That is a great theory, and I don't know who this individual is to shout him out because I was tagged in this video, but there's literally flock cameras everywhere. There's all over my city anyway, and they possibly could be used to have us lose our driving privileges. Then we become completely reliant on them for transportation. That's complete control, and it really goes hand in hand with what the World Economic Forum said. By 2030, we will own nothing and be happy, not even a car.
Happy.
And when it comes to these junk fires where these older cars are going up in flames, all these parts are being lost. One just happened very recently, a few days ago, over in Houston. The Houston County junkyard went up in flames, and so did all these older cars. Just take a look at this video from Wall Street Apes over on X. They're everywhere.
I pass 8 flock cameras on the way to my kids' school. 3 gas stations, 2 stoplights, but 8 flock cameras. I live in a rural county. I'm passing more surveillance cameras than I am businesses. That's insane. So yeah, surveillance state coming to a rural county near you.
So I think there's a common misconception about these flock safety cameras, and that people think that they're only putting up a few of these cameras. Maybe people think they're putting up like 5 of them or 10 of them in their city, but
More
no,
like
that's not the case. A lot of times
cameras.
there are so many of these cameras being put up. If we take a look at Texas, Harris County.
The flock cameras are definitely attached to Palantir, but I think that they're like farmed out on like a different LLC or corporation or whatever.
Has about 480 flock cameras. If we look at the greater Houston area, they have nearly 3,800 flock cameras. If you go down to rural areas, even rural towns are getting 28 cameras, 50 plus cameras. This is a much, much bigger deal than people realize. This is the mass surveillance network being established.
We'll just say it's weird what's going on with these. We'll just say it's weird what's going on with these data centers. And because of that and the lack of transparency, we start to think there's something more mischievous going on. The 2 main subjects that most people have concerns on are water and the drain on our electrical grid, which some of us seem to think we're paying for. Well, they already have a chess piece in place for that, and it has been there for a couple years. And my biggest concern is who's behind it. And that person is Bill Gates, which most people don't know is knee-deep in the construction of these data centers already.
Sorry, 10-1.
And how is he secretly a part of it? The Gates Foundation is the major stockholder in Caterpillar, a heavy equipment company that's supplying not only the temp, but long-term power for these data center builds. So not only is Gates supplying the temp power for these data centers, which has drove his shares of Caterpillar up 183%, but guess who has the solution to long-term power and the drain on our power grid? Bill Gates and his TerraPower project. It's a new design to a nuclear reactor, but instead of using water, it uses liquid sodium. Now, these are already being built, and the deal's already made to partner these reactors with the data centers. There's officially a data center in every state in the United States. Now they're gonna put a nuclear reactor right next to it full of liquid sodium? What's the worst that could go wrong?
Nuclear reactor backed by Bill Gates has just cleared a major milestone in the U.S.
Kiddo's laying on the couch like he fucking owns the thing. Let's go, dude. He had his head on the fucking pillow like he's people. He was like laying his head like this on the pillow. He's such a goofball.
The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission has approved a construction permit for TerraPower's Natrium reactor in Wyoming, the first approval for a new commercial nuclear reactor in the country in
No, I didn't play any flock camera videos
nearly a
yet.
decade.
Yeah, I don't like anything about that. But here's my question for you. What do you think nuclear radiation does to all those bugs that Gates likes to mess with? Let me know what you think, and stay safe.
That video came from Chaotic603 over on X, and it's scary to know, but makes a lot of sense as to why Bill Gates owns so much land, a lot of farmland. And these numbers that you're seeing here were back in 2023, so I'm sure he owns a lot more right now.
Breaking news, Keir Starmer just announced his resignation. And it's not what he said in his resignation speech that's shocking as much as the way that he said it. And people are speculating like, why resign? It's a cushy job. Did he get told he has to, or what's going on? And more importantly, before people celebrate, because I already know a lot of people are stoked about this, watch for the next guy that comes in, because a lot of these are here today, gone tomorrow politicians that just fulfill and do the same thing that they're all told to do anyway. And it doesn't even sometimes matter who's standing in front of this freaking podium. But listen to that.
And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad.
Cry, baby.
And being the best dad I can to my...
I saw someone posted, what's the name of the cat that lives there? It's like Bruce the cat or something. They're like, Bruce has outlived 6 prime ministers.
Beautiful children.
Now, one of the top comments on here was, he's crying when he's losing his job, but he didn't cry during XYZ situations and events and things that have happened in the United Kingdom, which have been very unfortunate for the people of the United Kingdom. So people were calling out that. Someone else edited a video of that resignation video on a giant screen in a bar full of people, and they edited it so that when he says he's resigning, they jump up and down and cheer, and it's just, you know, it's kind of funny. But you don't want to be woo, because like I said before, who's going to be replacing him? Because we just saw Trudeau. People were stoked that Trudeau resigned, and now we got Carney. So a lot of this democracy stuff, I don't know how seemingly, I mean, who voted, for example, to unban a bunch of pesticides in Canada? Because that's what they just did. Nobody asked for that.
Yeah, I don't get, why did Keir Starmer resign? Whatever, dude.
What the Sam Dam's going on?
That video came from Shane Vibes, and he is 100% correct. A lot of people are cheering that Starmer had stepped down and resigned, but somebody worse always takes their place. Like, for example, a lot of people were cheering when Klaus the Boogeyman Schwab had stepped down from the World Economic Forum. He resigned, but look who took his place, the man from BlackRock, Larry the Lizard King Fink, who believes in the tokenization of all assets, and much worse. I mean, of course,
Dude,
he's the CEO.
I can't believe we're getting goofed on by all these Baldy McBaldsters. This shit's crazy.
Of BlackRock.
All right, dudes. I think we're going to end a couple minutes early tonight. I'm a little sleepy. Sorry. I'm lame. I'm the kid at the sleepover that goes to bed first and gets a wiener drawn on their forehead. Although, dude, I was proud of myself over Noise Boys. Oh, I'm probably residually sleepy from Noise Boys. It's just catching on finally. I wasn't the person who fucking said I'm tired any of the nights, and I'm usually the first. Yeah, sleep's the best. We'll catch back up on Sunday. He resigned because he had the lowest approval rating in history of UK. The people demanded it. Yeah, but he was still getting his bullshit done, wasn't he? He probably loved it. Little cuck. I want to lay down too, LOL. Good night, chat. Yeah, hell yeah. It's too late, boys. Thanks for the show. Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. Hope you have a good weekend. Go outside, touch grass. Enjoy it before it's fucking freezing again. Dude, I know we're gonna blink and it's gonna be goddamn winter again. the long winter. All the gas will have run out by then. Everyone freezing our nuts off. Ugh. But, alright. Let's do it. Ready? Breathe in. Hold. And out. Sick. Breathe in. And out. Hell yeah. Buckle up. Close your eyes. Take one slow breath in. And let it go. Feel the chair beneath you. Feel the floor beneath the chair. Feel the earth beneath the floor. You don't have to hold the whole world tonight. The world's been carrying all of us for a very long time. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a great ocean at twilight. The waves roll in. The waves roll out. Each one different. Each one part of the same sea. Thoughts are like that. Some are exciting and some are frightening. Some are beautiful and some are confusing. You don't have to chase every wave. You can simply watch them arrive and watch them return to the ocean. Now look up. Above you stretches an endless sky filled with stars. Each star is another person. Billions of little lights, each carrying hopes, each carrying fears, each trying in their own imperfect way to make sense of this strange adventure called being alive. And then something wonderful happens. Tiny threads of light begin connecting the stars. Not because everyone agrees, not because everyone thinks the same, but because someone offered kindness, someone listened, someone forgave, someone laughed, someone shared a meal, someone rescued a kitty, someone planted a tree, and someone simply showed up. You realize the universe isn't asking you to solve every mystery. It isn't asking you to carry every burden. It's simply asking you to keep your own little light on, to breathe, to stay curious, to stay kind, and to help where you can, and to let the rest unfold in its own time. So take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, imagine your heartbeat joining the quiet rhythm of the earth. Steady, patient, ancient. The same rhythm that moves the tides. The same rhythm that grows forests. The same rhythm that has carried every generation before us. You're already part of it. You always were. One final breath in. And let it go. Tomorrow is another chance to learn, another chance to laugh, and another chance to practice, another chance to leave one little corner of the world a bit brighter than you found it. Good night, Nitwitchlings. We'll see you on Sunday. Yo, I'm sorry, but we need Nancy to get home. Thanks for hanging out, boys. Appreciate y'all. We will see you on Sunday. Nancy, we need you. Please.
Cause grandma, it's about to get ugly. Everyone thought she'd come home, she ran out of space time.
Yeah.
I saw the blood drop, she went out broken up.
West Side.
Nancy, come home.
Ugly.
Get back, Miss
No, Savannah is ugly at heart.
grandma, it's about to get ugly. Everyone thought she'd come home, she ran out of space time. I saw the blood drop, she went out broken up. Gang signs. Hey Savannah Guthrie, if you don't ever hear from your mommy, it's probably just somebody on some Here Comes Johnny.
Yeah.
Never wake up from the coma. That's how they deal with the commies, like casinos dealing cards, stealing hearts from zombies.
Money isn't real.
There was no stopping.
You know what is though?
Fucking arm and a leg. It'll only cost you an army. Storm chasers don't watch for warning. We follow the storm like everything's normal. Top of the morning, never fought in a war, but fought for control of every thought that's forming an unstoppable force. That's getting used to this immovable object. Shoot for the stars. They get confused how they're still losing a profit. I know who your boss is. Brian Roberts blindly robbing us. Ted Turner off to live. Rupert Murdoch got us tuned into the apocalypse. How
Yeah.
Y'all figure skating during some pond hockey as it's wearing thin. Preposterous. Tanya Harding went too soft when she lost her shit. But I guess it's anything to get Nancy to care again.
Please, just care a little bit. You skis.
Nancy, come home. Get back, Miss Guthrie. Took America's grandma.
Oh my God! Wait, who's watching The Valley? I just watched a couple episodes with Danny. Dude, that guy is a family annihilator. The drag episode on The Valley is crazy. It's about to get ugly. Sorry, should have brought it up before.
Yo, Savannah Guthrie, where's your wholesome mommy go? I know you know we know, this whole kidnapping is for show. I've been getting swole, raising my chi to the 5th dimension. And me and Nance, we moving upstate.
About to be fucking kissing.
Make a quick stop to Quantico, pick up Charlie, then we roll up to Casa de Wysopal to fertilize his mind with this U-Haul.
That you, Paul?
Call me Sid, please, I'm about to go on a spree. Just me and my girl Nance and my best friend Charlie. Three's company too high, 5 grams, just vibes. Saw God in the wood, no lie. She sent us back to the tribe like,
hey Savannah Guthrie.
What the fuck is you doing? After a 2-month vision quest, you still putting back into it.
Working.
While we silly sibing vibing, you on TV fake lying and crying. But the truth gonna come out soon, and
Hoda just can't save you.
she did it with the FBI. Bent over and spewed their lies. Twerked out and swallowed her pride for back shots of fame in her eyes. I mean, dude, do you really think the FBI
Uncalled
could
for,
find her fucking mom
guys.
if they wanted to? I'm right. Like, come on, man.
Really.
They're all in cahoots together. They're so fucking dumb. They think that we're never ever gonna figure this out. But Savannah, we know, you know, we know. Good night.
Good night, for real. All right, War Boner, thanks you for your attention to this matter. All right, boys, have a good night. Love you all. Behave, but do a little good trouble, if you know what I mean. Go outside, too. All right, bye. Take care of each other.